Good evening, everyone. Welcome to week 7 of our Victorious Rivals series, and what a week it is. Tonight, we've got two teams going up against each other for quite the match tonight. We've got the Fragtastic 5, our fourth standing team, whose last bout ended in a 2-0 victory against Team Ambitious Act. And what's important about this is that tonight they'll be going against their group's number 1, Comet Esports Club, who have been our star players throughout the group stage, but more on that in a bit. I'm joined here tonight by they're all that way, by Vault and Easel. Gentlemen, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for asking, Balvingo. And tonight will be all about the one spot remaining in the playoffs. And Easel, what do you think will happen? Do you think it will stay as it is with Fragtastic qualifying as a 4th seed, or do you think Frey's have an outside shot at this?
You know, if it was anybody else, I'd be betting on Fragtastic, but Comet Esports Club have been looking phenomenal the last couple weeks. And as we were combing through their stats, prepping for this game, it feels like they have the potential to absolutely run away with it. There's only one question mark, but I'm sure we'll dive into that in a second.
This is true, Easel. And I would like to point out, I did mention earlier that Fragtastic 5 went 2-0 against Team Ambitious Act, who is, to this point, the only team to have beat our friends over at Comet Esports. So I think that may have to say something here about the conditions of this match. I really do think that in this matchup, Fragtastic 5 do have a chance, and I guess, for lack of a better phrase, they don't really have any breathing room to give it their all. As we were saying tonight, if they lose this match and our team over at Frey's team end up winning, that's it for them in this rival series. And so I really do think that they're going to have to come out and play tonight and show it their all if they're going to stay in this.
Yeah, and Comets have nothing to lose coming into this. Like we said, they're locked in at the number 1 seed. No one can even get up close to them. And the thing that's interesting is they're just looking to stay in form and maybe get some knowledge on Fragtastic 5. And the thing that for me is interesting that I alluded to before is Comet Esports Club are trying a new player this week. They have Prey playing on their team. So Fragtastic 5 are going to have to pray that is their weak link coming into this. Otherwise, I don't see another one. I'm sure we'll dive into it more as we go along, but they have so many people who are just number 1 in almost in the categories across the board for this team, and it makes sense given that the record is 5-1.
Indeed. Vault, what's your 2 cents on this?
I mean, for me, we can talk all we want about just this matchup in specific, but I think we can never actually talk about this without regarding the other matchup in Group B between Frey and Fly City that will be played today almost at the same time that we will have our match. These two games are going to be neck and neck. If one of the two teams trip, the other one suddenly gets to catapult into playoffs. If both teams stay as they are, well, it will be still Fragtastic 5, whether they win both or nor of them get the dub. But regardless, it is still a hard ask for both teams because they're both fighting teams that are above them. But I think it's actually a much more vulnerable Fly City here for Frey's compared to what we'll see here from Fragtastic 5. Because still, the Danger Man himself, which is like Double J for Fragtastic 5, will he actually be capable to measuring up to Blitz, who is one of, if not the hottest player in Group B and maybe even the entire VRS right now? That is my question for the group.
I'm not sure I'd go as far to say that Double 5 is the hottest player. No, I mean, not even nearly as Blitz comes up, because Double 5 is not bad by any means. Number 3 in assists, top 5 in KDA and kills. He's on the board in a lot of places. But Blitz, on the other hand, is number 1 in KDA, number 2 in defuses per game, number 3 in lowest deaths per game. Those lowest deaths per game. Those are 3 very important categories and in the top 3 for all 3 of those. So that's that means more to me, I think, than more of a wider spread and being up there.
I think you bring up a great point there. Oh, excuse me, Vault. What are you going to say?
I was going to say, but Double J has the potential to set up teammates. And that is the one stat that is actually very scary for today's game, especially with we call it a stand-in or a sub. You have the third player with the most assists in the entire VRS with 9 assists per game. And if that number can quantify to something in addition to maybe a little bit of a dysfunction in the setups of Comet, maybe we'll see an upset. But still, I think this is like a dark horse moment more than anything here for the Fantastic.
Absolutely.
Indeed. And as we were discussing beforehand too, we are going to be fresh off a new patch which dropped yesterday, I believe, and a lot of changes coming in here, especially for the map Fracture. Now, we are not sure whether or not the teams will be playing on this map tonight. They are? All right.
Yep.
There you go. Is this what game is this? Game 1, 2, 3? I should know this, but you seem
I
to
don't
have
know.
the
Sorry, I don't know if they're on the map, but I saw the messages confirming that they can, in fact, play on Fracture with those changes coming through. So I thought that's what you were alluding to, and I'm like, no, I saw those messages.
Yes.
So hopefully we'll get to see that.
Indeed, hopefully we will. They've definitely changed it up a little bit, made it a little less frightening to go on, a lot less corners, and a lot smoother terrain. They've added ramps where normally you've had to jump. They've taken, as I said, some corners out. So I do think it will be very interesting to see if we do get to see these teams play and how that will play out. And then a lot of other changes coming through. Specifically, I'd like to point out on Arena and KO. Two interesting changes that I saw was the fact that KO's pop flash, his right click, now has a decreased flash duration than your standard throw, which I think is going to be playing out a little bit differently, because normally we see these players go in very aggressively, moving in and have these very large windows to attack their enemies here. But with this change, they're going to have to be executing with a lot more precision and a lot more speed if they are to make if they are to capitalize on these flashes. And as well as Reyna on her Lear, I believe the pullout timer has been decreased, as well as they have removed the range limitation on it. So you could be standing all the way across A site on Breeze and take a peek into A long, and suddenly your eyes are gone. So definitely going to see how these players take that out into the field today. And I guess, is there anything that stood out to you guys in the patch notes?
Me, yeah, call on me.
Yes.
I was queuing Valorant. Yes, I was queuing Valorant yesterday with my friends. We didn't have the best results, but I will say we were playing against both Arena and on the new, what is it, Fracture?
Yeah, Fracture.
Yeah, and on the new Fracture. And the Reyna is extremely scary to play against now. Like, she was already good in, sub-professional play when there's more individual plays happening, and now she's just so enabled to take those fights. And the fact that, 1, you can't shoot the Lear, 2, it hits you from anywhere, it's a truly formidable pick, especially on any map that has those kind of sightlines. But 2, the changes on Fracture, they feel really nice to play. I think all the players are going to be happy with them, but I don't think it makes the map easier. I was on defense, and even with not having to hold dish the same way, where you have to watch 2 angles at once, we were getting destroyed. It can be extremely difficult to manage all these new angles, and even just remembering that they're there. These are places you have to check. There's a weird heaven spot on, I think, A or B side, I don't know, the map goes upside down sometimes, but there's a weird heaven spot on where rope is on the doors on that one side.
Yeah, no,
and there's a couple weird little nooks now that the players are going to have to look out for if they do even allow the map into the pool.
Yes. And then Vault, did you notice anything?
I mean, it would be actually contrary to a lot of popular belief. Yes, you can say that the biggest loser of the patch is definitely the KO. But I think Sky has massively won in this patch. 1, the bird is no longer destructible. That is absolutely enormous for the pop flashes when you're trying to repeak. 2, you have the setup potential now. You have that potential of the buffed flash when it's enhanced when you went past the threshold. So maybe we'll see a more supportive Sky, but I think the actual biggest winner is neither of those. It's going to be insane to say this. The biggest winner is actually Phoenix. Because now suddenly you have the best close range flash in the game with no downside. And you're already buffed a few patches ago, like time and time again, both the ultimate and the flashes. And now it's gonna be the question of what will the duelist meta be? Maybe we'll see the Phoenix. Maybe we'll see the Reyna. And what does that mean for both the Jet and the Raze that are pretty much the premier duelists that we have right now? It all depends, of course, on the map picks, because some maps are more lenient than others for some people. But I think Reyna on the Breeze with this new flash is going to be absolutely insane.
Wonderful.
Speaking of the
indeed.
map picks, yeah, it looks like they're coming through right now.
Oh, there we go. And so to start things off, we will have Fragtastic ban Icebox. So right off the bat, I think that has been a fairly consistent behavior from them. And Comet also bans Pearl. And for our first map, we wait.
We're going to bind.
We're going to bind. There we go. That I was struggling there for a moment, but it's all right. And so, wait. No, wait. We still have to. Yeah, all right. We will be going to bind. Wonderful. All right. Definitely going to be curious to see how things go, especially we were mentioning earlier that our friends at Comet Esports do have a sub, which is Prey, and they do appear to have quite a few games on Fade. So already has a special place in my heart, a very proud Fade. I am a very proud Fade main. I am not ashamed to admit it. And Bind is one of those maps where she is very, very strong. A lot of lineups where you can clear out some of those tricky spots, where you can sometimes clear entire sites if you really want to. And so I will be curious to see if they do pick up the Fade and how that will play into their performance here in their debut here at the Rival Series.
Yeah,
Volt, do you have any takeaways from how the map select ended up coming through?
I was thinking a lot, because now we have Bind, and we probably already know how the Bind will line up. You're almost probably going to have both the Brim and the Viper. Raze is still extremely oppressive on Bind, so I think that duelist discussion is probably going to get to rest, at least in map 1. But then you think of Bind and you think of the Sky nerfs, and Sky was one of these initiators that like to play very aggressive on these very tight corners. In hookah, for example, or in showers, or in short, trying to pop flash yourself. And now this potential has been taken away quite tremendously, in all honesty. So that change, I'm very curious of how we're gonna see. Maybe we'll see another flasher. Maybe it will be the return of the Breach in this situation, which is very possible. But then that leaves me with the question, how do you basically make up for the loss of the intel of the Trailblazer and even the Guardian Light itself? So you have that potential that will be taken away from you if you decide, hey, I don't want to play with the nerd flashes. I want to still play aggressive.
And not talking about agents, but just the maps themselves, I think this is a really funny map select. If we're thinking about, we were talking which maps these teams like to ban, it's Comet Esports likes to ban Bind, and FF Fragtastic 5 like to ban Breeze, and they both picked each other's maps that they like to ban. So clearly these teams are prepared. They've watched the film, they've looked at the results, and how these teams have been approaching their maps. So both of them have put themselves on what you could maybe describe as the most favorable map for them, because it's where their opponents don't want to be.
Indeed. Well, it's good to see that both teams are, in fact, as you said, doing their homework. And I think at this rate, we are going to get ready to pop into the Agent Select. Not just yet. So I still have a few minutes here, but I am definitely interested to see how these teams will go at each other, because as we said, this is a very, very important match for our friends at the Fragtastic 5. Pretty much potentially their determining factor, or no, it is their determining factor. As if I recall, even if they and Frey win both their games, they will still be in the group stage. So for lack of a better term, Fragtastic have to pull the same pull the same plays and ability that they did against Ambitious Act, and hopefully they can find themselves in the final. Well, not in the finals, but up into the elimination bracket.
Yeah, into the playoffs. That's where they want to be. The weird silver lining here is, yes, Comet Esports is guaranteed to go through, but there's a world where Fragtastic 5 loses and also goes through. It's possible. If Freyfrey's team loses their match, they have played Freyfrey's in the past and they beat Freyfrey's, so they would have the leg up and therefore get to go on regardless. So Comet Esports, whether they win or lose, they get tremendous knowledge. In fact, you could argue that getting a lot of information and then intentionally losing, so you know that Fragtastic 5 are going to be one of your opponents coming into playoffs, would be a good strat. Like, losing this map after getting that information could play out better in their hands than letting someone who they're less familiar with coming through.
Honestly, that's
not that they're going to throw.
Yeah, no, not that they're going to throw.
We do not condone sandbagging, ladies and gentlemen.
We don't condone match fixing, sandbagging, anything of the sort. But you do make a very good point, Easel. Right before we get into agent select here, as we've said a lot before here, Comets are locked in. There's nothing that can change the fact that they're in first place here. So then what is really their mentality going into this match? Because they do, to some degree, get to play judge, jury, and executioner if they want. They can go in here and figure out what Fragtastic are like, and I guess really not necessarily. I say again, we don't condone match fixing here.
They could have more fun with it. They don't have to take it as intensely. Yeah, exactly that.
Yes. And so with that in mind, on that wonderful note, I will go ahead and sign off and leave it to you, gentlemen. Let's get into agent select. Thank you very much, and I'll see you after the map.
See you, and thank you so much, Belingo. Well, we'll just take it over from here. And it looks like, at least for Fragtastic, they might have a pocket ace in the Euro. That is something that is absolutely obnoxious and have even been buffed in this last patch with an extra flash duration. And then you have the Fade, you have the Reyna with the double duelist from the side of Comet here on Blitz and Stardust. So, Easel, do you think that the double duelist is something that is viable, that now you're losing the second initiator in the sky?
Yeah, I think people get a little bit too caught up on, is this person a duelist? Are they initiator? Are they whatever? We've seen the way that duelist and initiator have had the lines kind of blurred in the past. And like even the devs have seen that. That's why they're introducing these kind of buffs to kind of identify where their flashes work best. And now that Reyna's flash is so powerful, that's going to be one of the most powerful tools to get into sight. And they basically have flashes to work with with the rest of their team, because it's not going to get shot down. And on the other side, you mentioned that Yoru pick coming through. The Yoru pick is both the cheese strat and like the ultimate big brain strat simultaneously. It exists in two states at the same time, and I'm interested to see if Pyro FPS can turn up with it, because yeah, their KD is pretty good. They have the second highest KD only by 0.01. Do they have less than Double J? But they are going to be one of those fraggers that we're looking out for. They have the most first bloods on the side of Fragtastic 5. So the Yoru pick could be the enabler to continue doing that.
Yeah, it could be just that. And right now, I just have to be very honest. I think that Yoru is in a very strong state, but for that same reason, I'm kind of worried, because now, yes, the lines are blurred. You still have the Leer, but you have lost a lot of info on both the Trailblazer and the Sweeper. So there is a lot of information gathering that will need to fall single-handedly on the Fade. And that can beg a question, will the Fade be enough to stall? Because now we need to have more firefights and engage further. But it looks like that this engagement will come in very fast here from the side of Fragtastic 5.
Yeah, get quickly out on the site. You could hear the spike going down. Don't even have control, just getting their executes, and a very intelligent way to do so. It's a 5v5 now on the retake.
Yeah, the 5v5 is coming in. Looks like that the lamp will be the first position to be cleared. We have the Euro here with the shorty. He's being swung on, but he's gonna be good for one. Mars though with the 2k for the trade. Blitz with a beautiful shot of Minty, and he needs to double up. A counter blender is trying to find something. It's only down on Rogers. Is being spotted? No, he will take the hometown in time. The stick is being there. The spray will be good, but it has been hogged. It's all down to him. 70 HP. It's almost down. It's almost there. And the defenders will get it at the very last millisecond before Rogers take them down. And Comet, they actually managed to come up with the win from the jaws of defeat.
Wow, that is some game-changing milliseconds of timing. I really thought that Captain Rogers was going to pull that through, but at the very last second, it is Comet Esports with a very clean retake. They almost flubbed the 3v1, but pros don't fake. They stuck it through as much as they could, and it paid off just barely. And now they have a very solid buy, but look at the other side. We have Fragtastic 5 going all Stingers coming into this. That is a strange buy, and a heavy investment into this considering they lost the previous.
Yep, Stinger OP though, could we see something that is going on? Once again, Frag 5 with a very quick heads-up play, but looks like the other side is ready here. Mars with another 2k. And that retake is already leaps and bounds ahead here. Blizz needs to find something. He will find the one. And this mess will make sure that he's alive. This line is not going to be good, but the boom ball will be. And now the stick is going to be there. Rogers only good for one. The Stinger way too wild for you, old man. And that will be round 2 for Comets.
Blitz with a very casual 180 to close that one out as well. We can see how they get up to a 1.6 KD average over the last 6 weeks. Crazy numbers, and they're already climbing their way up on the board right behind Mars. That investment was tough. If they had just saved there, on the side of Fragtastic 5, if they had just saved a little bit, then they would have had a buy into this round. But instead they are on another broken buy, another triple Stinger buy. They really believe in this meta. The Stinger was very slightly buffed, in all honesty, not different enough for it to make a difference, but it's buffed enough that players are considering it as a viable option. It didn't work last time. I'd like to see what it can do this time.
Well, it looks like deja vu, 3rd time in a row. Will it be the charm for the Fragtastic 5 here on the Stingers once again? Looks like the Blitz is not aware, but Mars will claim his spoil, and Mars will once again get 2 kills early on before the plant. It looks like that he is doing really well here on the Brimstone. And Pyro and Minty, they're trying to find something. The over-aggression could be their downfall though. Plant is not secured yet, and the cavalry has arrived on the side of the Comet Esports Club here. This Stinger needs to come up huge. They need to pay a lot of dividends. The orbital strike will be good to at least force him away. He will take the teleport. And now Minty, could he try to find something? Could he try to find the rotator through the teleport? But a lot of respect is actually being paid here. You have 2 players holding Minty, and he is being read like a book, but he will flip the script and take the page away. He's gonna take one. Looks like that will be it for him, and Pyro is not fast enough to reclaim the trade.
30 seconds
The 3v1 for the Yoru. It could pull something out of the bag. Not a lot of util though, so it will need to be a few nice shots like this one onto Stardust. A 1v2 is very doable with how low Mars is. The plant is taking its time though. 15 seconds, 14 is ticking down. It's in the red. And finally we will get the stick here. Playing a good 2v2. He knows where one is. Heads up play. Is down to 27 HP, but this is very doable. Snakebite is gonna deteriorate Prey from going wherever he wants. And the Yoro ultimate is here. Looking for him, trying to find anything. Not a lot of util left. Just trying to force him out, trying to waste his time. And Prey, it will be tasked with trying to find something back. It's sticking down, it's very close. The wall bank could be there, but will it be enough? Will it be fast enough? And it will be. Pyro with the 3k, with the patient clutch, methodical. He will tear the Comets down. Meteorites.
Pyro single-handedly pulling that one through. We were talking about the Yoru map pick coming into this, and it paid off. Really good Yoru plays. I'm glad it's not just a cheese pick, but instead they look like they really have a good fundamental understanding of how to run circles around your opponents, as we watched them just do. I liked the way that they faked that rotate, got the extra space, played off their sound cues, and now they still have a mixed buy, but at least they have a round on the board and some weaponry to work with. They have some rifles in this round finally.
Yeah, they have some rifles, and the other team really isn't on that good of a buy either. So this round is a make or break for both teams. It looks like once again, Fragtastic is just incredibly fast here. You're talking about the fast pace. They're bringing it thick and fast. The orbital strike with the C's, it will not be good enough. It looks like Stardust is trying to find anything. Cow in the blender as well. Pyro and Rogers are gonna combine, and the side will be for the Fragtastics. But Mars in a very dangerous position. He's gonna claim one. He's gonna see the second, but not before Pyro gets the kill. And now it's a 1v2. It's on to Minty. Is it gonna be another clutch? That is the question. Prowler in hand. Tick is faked, and he will jump down to at least try to stall it for a little bit. It's all on to Prey here, and he will be good for it. Second kill for him in the game, and third round for Comets.
I had some doubts about Prey coming into this simply because we didn't have any stats prepared for them. They're the new sub, the new addition to the team this week, and one clutch to start things out, and 2 kills on the board now. That's okay. That's not a bad start. I have some belief in them. But look at that on the other side. You said you wanted to keep an eye on Double J. Hasn't really been able to do anything this game. 0 and 4, 2 assists. So they're on their assist grind like we would expect them to be, but not finding that tremendous impact like just yet. And even Raze, Cow in a blender, in some really interesting spots, but not able to capitalize on it yet. So I'm curious what else they have on the tank, or if we're just going to keep seeing these fast hits onto A or rotates to B.
Like it will be the process again. But you gotta respect the way the Comet plays. They know when to concede space, and they know when to fight back for it. That has been the theme of the takes, and once again, Mars is gonna just chop up Pyro, and that is your main duelist, your danger man taken away. And Blitz here is trying to find something, but once again, Mars with another 2k. You hit the A side, and you're gonna fate the Wrath of Mars. He's trying to find something here. Nightfall, what is going on? Minty Mouse could have spin out here, I think. That has to be a spin out. Now it's down to Cow and Double J to find something. Double J with the nice shot here onto Blitz. If he finds more damage, that round could be very doable. The orbital is gonna be the doom of Cow, and it's all down to Mars to get his ace, get his son, and he will. And the Comet are taking it over. 13 and 4 for Mars, and an absolute lights out show.
Wait, no way! Look at the leaderboard. Mars 13 and 4 on round number 5. This man has gone absolutely crazy with his orbital strike and just with his strats when he's anchoring on the site. I love the way that Mars and Blitz were holding each other's angles. So Blitz swung all the way out on site, not even worrying about showers, because they knew Mars has their back. And they just look phenomenal. That round looked like it was up in the air, and now it looks dominant towards the side of the Comets.
Yep, that looks dominant. Look at the switcheroo. Now they are taking the showers area, and they will be met by a 2-man squadron of the ulting Yoru and Minty. The flash is gonna try to set up Minty, and that much it will. But now the Yoru is stuck short. He's out, and he will get the kill, and that is the A-slice setup. Absolutely dismantled. Beautiful adaptation here from the side of the Fragtastic 5.
And look at that, it's an instant call. You saw Comets were gonna rotate, and they were like, no. It's a 3v5, we're just barely stabilizing our economy, and they had a good site hit. We'll respect that. And here they're gonna get a little bit more fortified positions. I liked the way that the Fragtastic 5 were able to play off of the information that they saw there. They used the Yoru ult to gather it, and the second that they saw that both of the players that normally hold that site are in showers, it's highly unlikely that there's a third there, because those are the players that they've been seeing here. So it's just another default by Comets, and so they were able to be read just off of that information. Quick site take, easy as that. I love to see it. I love to see the adaptations and the recognition of, hey, these are the normal people that we would see here.
Yeah, oh, Pyro died there. That is a lot of economy damage. for probably a frag hunt that did go awry. But speaking of which, stuff going awry here. You gotta wonder what is happening on the side of the Fragtastic 5. Double J probably just not that adjusted to the breach. We've already talked about it. It's pretty fresh here. It is an alternative to the very popular Sky. But now that they're gonna scale up B again, let's see, are they gonna speed it up or are they gonna slow it down? Stardust is blocked here. He will be faced by the manhunt here. Decoy not gonna get that much, and a teleport will open the space for the Fragtastics, and they are scaling up immensely. Nightfall and the Flash are there, and now there will be a rolling thunder on demand, but it looks like it will not be needed as they will play very passively here on the side of the Comets, and Cow in the Blender will call the bluff of the aggression, and Double J, he's waking up, he's onto something. Pyro's gonna get one as well, and it's only down to the lone operator on Stardust. Will he be hunted, or will the economy be respected here from the side of the Fragtastic 5?
Looks to be a little bit of a hunt already coming through. You can see them pushing up on A short. They just have to make it to Showers to try and get that op out of his hands, and looking the other way. So it's definitely possible, trying to make sure they can deal that economy damage. This is a bit of an unorthodox angle to save in though, so might be able to get away with it after all. They're really putting a lot into clearing out that heaven spot.
Through everybody, a lot of utility, and two people. That Prowler will be the last measure of detection. 3, 2, 1, and up is gonna be a 0 for the side of the Comets, and their economy is almost fully reset. All aside from Blitz, who could show up here. Maybe you can see a hero rifle round. And it looks like that will be the case here. Mars is dropping for Rayla, and we have the Showstopper and a Stinger on the Rays. So what do you see? Do you think that there is a chance to meet the very fast and rapid style the side of the Fragtastic 5 is playing with that utility that we have here on the defense, Easel?
Yeah, I think that they can keep it up, and they have the guns to do so finally while the opposition is forced into a save. They just did a good job of clearing out. They got their Rays in a good spot last round, and Mars takes huge damage from that aftershock. Gonna pretty much take them out of commission, except for being a turret right off the bat. The turret gets a kill somehow.
Stardust is gonna be good for a second. Looks like that the aggression is gonna be there. The Eco round now going well. He's been seized here, but Rogers will be good for one. Rayla and Blitz though are gonna leave Rogers on his lonesome. He's been playing really well, but now he's gonna have to come up with a very hard ask, and it will not be, as Blitz is gonna ram him up, and that is gonna be round 5 for the Comets. A very important round, and a very big pitfall here for the Fragtastic 5 to fall into.
Yeah, that definitely should have been Fragtastic's 5th round. They had the read. They were hitting the site with only 2 people on it. They had the gun advantage. They knew what they were doing going into that round, and it just got torn apart by Mars with a Stinger somehow surviving, and the ult coming through, and that was all that they needed. The fact that they can hold a site with such weak weaponry doesn't bode well to me, and although this game is pretty close, that feels like a really bad sign for Fragtastic 5. A round gone awry, but they want to keep doing it. This is their strategy. Once again, going to do a 5-on-2 hit onto A site. Gonna have to deal with the Viper's Pit this time.
Gonna have to deal with the Viper's Pit. Is there very fast, and now your Lampstake is kind of delayed. Wait, Cow in the Blender. Where is it going? But Stardust is gonna clean it up here after Double J at 3k even. Will he be able to get out safely? He will. Smoke spam. Smoke spam is gonna be good. And that's Pyro claiming some sort of recuperation back for the side of the Fragtastic 5. Yoru is in the ultimate. Will he gonna be able to get the spike? He will. And you gotta remember, ever since that buff, flash in hand for the Yoru, and that could be an entry onto the site, but looks like he'll be playing it a little bit slower. Off into the short area. The crossfire is set up. Any off step here from Pyro, and he'll be met with great dangers. He will be marked, but he will go all the way back. And now you gotta wonder, if you're on the side of the Comets, what is going on? What is the game plan? Are they going to be? It looks like the rotation has come in. It's a beautiful sell here, Easel. Beautiful.
They have no idea where that TP could have been going. It was right back into his own spawn, but there's no audio cues because they didn't leave anyone over at B site. Now they're realizing, wait, they've already faked going to B once in this game already. Surely they can do it one more time. Only Mars looking the correct way to try and stop this plant, or even contest it at all.
It looks like he will be playing it safe. He's just expecting some sort of aggression, but it will not be met. Maybe the timing could favor Minty though. He sees a gun barrel. It's gonna be good for one, but that will not be good enough. A 1v2 for Pyro. He's pulled something similar, but this situation, it smells like deja vu of the pistol round. And he is not gonna be good. Nerves are gonna get to him, and Blitz is gonna wrap it up. And that is round 6. And already the sweet spot you want to hit here for the comments.
Yeah, and the adaptation, they're not allowing Pyro to take those 1v1s again. Pyro did that to Comets once before. They learned from it. This time they were spamming the box to force him out and to force him to take those gunfights before they wanted to. Now putting themselves in a very advantageous position. We're going to have a full buy out from the board, but this is a full cripple on to Fractastic's economy if they do end up losing this one. And like you said, on the other side, Comets are already at 6 points. This feels kind of like how they're already at enough points to qualify for groups. It doesn't really matter what happens from here. They're already at a good spot.
Yeah, they're already at a very good spot, and now let's see. Well, we see some adaptation from the Fractastics. Are they gonna keep speeding it up again? Looks like they want to fight it with fire. They're very confident here in this map. Euro Decoy will not be able to take that bite for them. Good fault line, but it will not amount to much. Just some map control here on the B area, and that Haunt is gonna miss as well. There is a good bit of utility combination, but it is not going where you're wanting it to. And now the site is very tense here. You're talking 4 members on each and every end, and it's only Stardust on his lonesome. It looks like the call for the rotation has been made, and the rotation from the opposite end as well is slowly progressing. It is only Frey. If they manage to capitalize on that window here on the side of the Fractastics, it could be a good entry, but first, you're gonna have to deal with the operator.
Grenade!
Smoke's perfect counter to the op to make sure it can't get a good angle. And on the other side of the map, Pyro does get a pick to open things up and give them the man advantage as they're able to finally get on the site. No sight lines for Comets to fight back. Spike does finally go down. Fantastic 5 have adapted, but they've lost these post plants before. They're going to need to do something a little bit different and slow down these beautiful retakes that we've been seeing from the
Wait. Look at the comments here. Look at the comments. They're absolutely running it out. Everybody just stim beacon. Everybody's buffed, and they want to take the Vice, and they're winning them so far. But at least Double J is going to be good for 2. The trades are good, but it's only down once again to Rogers. No orbital strike, so it will need to be the 2 kills. It will need to be the 2, but it's only gonna be the 1, and Blitz is gonna wrap it up, and he has enough time, and it will be 7-3 for the side of the Comets, and it's already looking pretty grim here. The attack
Once again,
is being
yeah.
adapted to.
A very decisive retake. I was talking about they looked good in the past, and they did it again. They just barreled in a death ball into sight, clearing every corner. A questionable choice to use a shorty to clear where Brim did end up peeking, but it worked. It was a distraction play, if nothing else, and a beautiful swing at the end to close things out, not giving just a 1v1. The trade was there. They had the people for it, and now they have the guns for it once again. An op and 4 rifles on the table, and the weakest buy. We've seen so many weak buys from Fractastic. It doesn't look like they like to save too hard ever. Stardust missing their opening shot, though, giving an option to get into sight.
Yeah, that was a big whiff. Now they have to concede a lot of space. The entirety of the side is conceded. We see 3 members already in the tower area. It looks like the aggression is gonna have a good setup here. Finally, it is paying off, but will it be too much? Will they bite off way too more than they would like to take here? That would be the question. Or they will do it their way, and it looks like their way will not be good enough. A great aftershock here to stall, but the hit is coming in very fast. The orbital strike will divide the players. Mars and Blitz are ramping up here. Pyro needs to find more, but he will not. At least the blind will take away a lot of time. It's down to Minty here on the flank. The stick is gonna be there, and he will not be good for the kills. At 8-3. With the half-point mark imminent.
Wow. I was surprised that we didn't see that Brimstone ult come out sooner, that we didn't see him scorch the earth when they went to plant, but instead used it beautifully on the retake to clear out all of the angles on the side of U-Haul in lamps. And once again, decisive. It's like they don't even need to hold sight because they'll just attack into it together. And that sort of strategy makes me think they might be absolutely formidable when they actually are on attack and they're always hitting sites the same way that they're retaking them right now. But we'll just have to wait and see because we have one more fast A hit, it looks like, to come by from the Fragtastic 5.
Yep, Prey is in a very dangerous position here. Cow is trying to find something. He will get the raise, but Prey will get the trade. But Cow in a blender will blend the Viper here on the wooden box corner. Mars is gonna take a bit of shift damage. Your decoy will delay the hit again and again. The aggression in the CT area here for side of the Fragtastics. Will it come to bite them in the last round? It looks like it is. Mars is gonna claim another kill. One more Leer in the hand of Blitz. One more attempt to retake. It's a 3v3. This is very close. This is one of the closest takes we have seen. Hans back and forth. Pyro's gonna be good for one, but traded. Minty is gonna lead the advantage, and the Knights fall. Will miss, but the Molly will be there. Rayla dropped pretty low. His hit there, and the shot will confirm it. 8-4 for the side of the Fragtastic at the halfway point.
We haven't really talked much about Minty there. In fact, if you look at the stats, they are the lowest in terms of KD at just 0.7 on average, but they showed up where they needed to, and they got the kill that turned the tides and the numbers in their favor, so they were able to kind of double team to get that one closed out. 8-4, not the worst, but not a good start, especially with Mars still being on a rampage, nearly at 20 kills for the half. You know, if he were to keep up that kind of momentum, we're talking about a 40 kill game. I highly doubt it, but enough kills have gotten that it would be possible were it to go that far. And in all honesty, I don't think it would, because if Mars keeps performing the way they have so far, it's going to be closed out a lot sooner than the 12 rounds that we just saw.
Yeah, it will all just come down here to the attacking setup. You can see it's very slow. It's much more methodical, but the burstiness in nature is there. Meanwhile, they have decided to take over places. They've decided to send the arrow through the TP, and that was a risk that they didn't play so well to. They didn't need to. But Pyro, he will heat their heads, and a beautiful teleport. The flank, they're nowhere near ready for it here. On the side of the Fragtastics, everybody just taking the tube, going straight into the spawn area, and it's all onto Double J. The Ghost in hand, the Weds are walking, the Blitz cleaning off. And now it's a 3v4. The switcheroo has come through. The aggression is too much. Blitz is so good. The Smith at the last second. 2 kills with the right click. A third from Cow. And a 3k from Minty. And that is the pistol round. Absolutely swinging here. Insanity from the Classic. It's free. It's free. It's free.
It's not free. It's RNG. You know, if I'm comments, I'm pissed that they got a double kill, right click kill. 2 of the 3 bullets from the right click got a kill. Are you kidding me? I would not ever let that one live down. And I'm sure they're not going to take it lightly either. Blitz is scary on the Reyna, and if they're mad, I don't want to see what that looks like, and they might have just activated that. To be fair, Reyna had to dismiss instead of healing, but I'm just saying the retaliation could be fast and it could be furious because they're going for the same strat that we saw Fragtastic 5 do. It's a 5-person stinger buy onto a site.
Yeah, and Yoru once again just instant teleporting. They keep trying to find some value in the hookah area. But the play is very slow and steady from the side of the Comet Esports Club. Looks like they're not gonna show their cards just yet. The 2-man shower hold, that could be their demise though. You're talking a lot of Uther, you're talking the Fade, you're talking the Raze. Paint Shell is in hand. The side control has been taken, but the nades will not amount to much. Prowler is being used, and that's a lot of utility already taking out of the shower players. They are being pincered. Prey is in a beautiful position. The Leer, the double dink, and it would be Blitz and Hard to complete the pincer here. But Pyro is trying to fight back. The eco is paying them very well. The force buy is going super well here. They just need to hold on to their footing. Double J though is taking that right from their legs. It's gonna be one. It's gonna be Rogers versus Spray here. And that will be the 1v1 controller, the controller. And it's down. Just Spray. The whip from Rogers, and that will mean now number 9 for the side of the Comets.
Wow, this is the second time that we've seen like a stupid buy from Comets end up working out. They're good when they have these light guns in their hands. And the Force Stinger play didn't work for Fragtastic. The same exact play did work for Comets. And now that's putting Mars at 20 kills, Blitz at 15. They're getting up there, and so are their rounds. Now 9 and 5, and with the gun advantage coming to this almost a guaranteed double digits. And there's just no read on what they're going to do, because on the first round they won, they ran all the way through your spawn, and on the second they did a fast play through A and then back through showers. These aren't predictable plays. These are adaptations happening on the fly, and they just heard a shorty was waiting back there. A free kill for Stardust.
Yeah, that is a beautiful kill. Already trading here. Ryla is going to be good for one. The aggro before the paint shells in hand for Cow, and that is a good second kill already. Getting a lot of value here from Comet. The calculated aggression is doing them so well compared to the, I would say, very aggressive but very puggy playstyle from the side of the Fragtastic, and it's only down to a frenzy in the B side. But well, looks like it will be only down to a shorty with the teleport.
How many shorties did they buy?
Yeah, I know. It's like almost a shorty around here for both sides. Lear in hand, Spike on site, trying to find something, trying to find the player, but that could be very dangerous if you're gonna walk into a shorty. A Pyro, are you ready? The pincer could be coming in, but it looks like they will just play the reserve. They'll play it very slow, and that could mean the breach. The timing is everything in this hold. Double J.
Oh, they're aware that there's shorties on the other side, though. That patience and diligence to push that so late in the round. Blitz waited until they were looking the other way. Good timing, and now just a frenzy for Double J.
Yeah, maybe another accidental jump here, and a lot of nerves are coming into Fragtastic 5. A lot of stakes are running into this best of 3 so far. It looks like double digits will be for the side of the Comets, and not really that much success on the eco round. Not even a single body fell down, and Double J will just elect to die to get the maximum bonus. And right now, it is looking very eminent to be a closer. They think that they have some fight left in them here on the side of the Fragtastics, or that aggression is just absolutely red from the side of the Common Series.
I think that they absolutely have a chance, but it lies in this round. They finally have a full rifle buy. Oh, well, it gets swapped out for a judge.
Yeah,
okay, whatever. But they finally have a full gun buy as much as they want to buy. This is their chance. If they blow this, I don't think that there's a recovery for them. So it's all going to hinge on whether they can deal with this Yoru TP to open things up.
Oh,
they weren't able to capitalize off of it.
Yeah, the decoy got taken down, and the kill got met as well. Beautiful link-up play. And now it is very dangerous for the side of the Fragtastics. This round could spell disaster for any of their bind hopes. And once again, you compare the way that the Fragtastics were playing on attack to the way that the Comets are right now. You can see Comets are much slower, much more disciplined and methodical in their hits. And that needs to be the case here. You don't have the double duelist compared to what the Fragtastics are playing. You actually do, but you know, like the way you're using Arena is much more supportive. A take is on, but Double J is gonna get 2. That's a double for him. Rogers now could be everything the side of the Fragtastics need. Is gonna be good for 1, and dips again from the shadows. Counter blender, showstopper. It has absolutely stopped everything. Spray is gonna be good for 1, but that's all. And a very important round through the wire on the side of the Fragtastics.
Yeah, but it's pulling at straws, getting whatever they can. It was scrappy, but they pulled it through, so they still have a chance. They're not out of it yet. and they're going to continue to bring rifles into another round. And another judge, Pyro's gun of choice. I guess that's just the Yoru gun. I'll accept it. I'll also accept it if Arrays uses it, but that's about where I have to draw the line. And look at that, it's a judge from the Rays on the other side. You're gonna meet fire with fire here in a short.
Yeah, Yoru's there. Beautiful combination from the side of the Fractastic. That is gonna be Mars already. The man on 20 kills, taking down. And Pyro is taking a very aggressive position. Let's see, are they ready for it? The Prowler, where Spot him, is still trying to find something else, but he will TP, elect to play safely. And that is already a pick and a hefty amount of damage for the side of the Fractastic. And maybe some time to recuperate some grounds here for the Comets.
Yeah, a much needed pick, and throwing Comets off of their momentum. Getting that sort of early kill makes them completely reconsider what they're doing, regardless of everything they had planned coming into that round. Counter Blender does spot some action, relaying that to his team. You can see Brimstone looking to rotate if necessary. They have a good hold on this round. And like I said, last round was the must win. This round would set them in a great spot.
Yeah, it would, and looks like they are still setting up to the A side. The commitment to it is there. The defensive Haunt will not spot them much. And now the attacking Haunt is there. The flashbacks are there as well, but the TP decision is taken. It's all down to Double J and Rogers. A beautiful fault line. Will delay it. Rolling Thunder as well. Lamp up to it, and it looks like the judge come up huge here. Pyro and Cow are gonna link up, but it's only all down to the Blitz. Duke here through the wall, and it's gonna be 7 seconds left. He needs to find the Alamo. It looks like nigh impossibility here, but he will not find it. It was very close. You can see the bloodthirst for the Reyna, but Double J and Rogers are gonna stand strong at the end of the round.
This is where we're going to start to see the adaptations to come through. That they're going to need to try something new, because it's FF, it's Fractastic 5 who've done something new and they've shut it down. This is the reset round. They're going to have a light buy, kind of poke and prod, get some ideas formulating. And then when we get to that 10-8 scoreline is where I think we are almost guaranteed to see some new strats out of Comets. Obviously, they're going to have to pull a little bit deeper than they were originally giving us in order to bring this over the finish line.
Yeah, it's looking slightly scary though. You're talking only 1 point for Orbital, 1 point for Nightfall. And we have the Showstopper and the Viper Spit, so if the attackers of Comet actually manage to put their hands on his side, it will be game over, and they already have that Orbital. It's looking grimmer and grimmer. The plant is there, the Showstopper is there, the Ram, the Viper Spit. They know Stardust is there, and the Showstopper will be for naught, but at least the Viper Spit and the plant will be there. Prey will be tribute for it though, but a beautiful position if you are the Comets here. It's looking very dangerous. Crossfires are established, and the site will be held. Okay, starting it up here. Stardust taking low. Beautiful from Counter Blender, but even better from Blitz. The Crossfire is being broken down, and it's all down to Rayla, all down to the Stinger. He will find one, but it will be all he wrote. And, you know, 2 kills and a plant is actually a better result if you're the Comets than what you originally anticipated for, considering how light that buy was.
Well, that's a successful eco result, but not a huge success given that they invested 2 of their ults into the round. Yeah, sure, they have 2 ults coming into this one, but to spend both of those and not get anything for it is going to be rough. And look at this, the timeout coming through. This is where their attack strategy needs to change, needs to adapt, and they can talk about what's happened. How have Fractastic 5 been able to do this? It's because they started applying aggression in different spaces and not waiting for them to come to them. You see those aggressive Yoru plays, and also the different buys, and taking advantage of these different guns to put them in places where it's not just an aim labs competition, where instead they can use different Valorant specific strategies and utility combos to put themselves a foot ahead.
Yeah, I gotta say, like, if you are aiming for these, I think Breach and Yoru are some of the premier agents to do that with. You're talking a lot of mind games with the Gate Crash, a lot of oppressiveness in the Breach. Double J, he wasn't really up to the task earlier on, but look at him now, top fragging his team 15, 14, and 6 on the Breach, halting down Morse. Like, so at least you know that you have the controller under control, ironically enough, on the attacking half. But it will all come down to this one round here, 10 seconds, that will separate us from what could be either the final buy round for the side of the Fractastics here if they lose this, or it could be a spelling of the return of the side of the Fractastic into the map. It looks like the aggression from the defense is all through the A side. They're gonna get their spoils. Pyro and Cow are gonna link up beautifully, but that leaves the site open. Now a 3v5 retake, and the test will be the crossfires, the setup, a defense of the side of the Comets. Is it good enough? That will be all we need to know. It looks like they will try to start pretty early on. We're seeing Mars holding a very aggressive angle. They know where they are here on the side of FF, but the trades are coming to the FF's way. The crossfire, Mela is gonna be good for 2, but a trade from Double J. We were talking about this man earlier. There we go. A lot of ultimates as well ramped up for the side of the Fractastics, and that is a very important round that could take us back to a very close situation here for both teams.
Yeah, now going from an 8-4 to being just one round apart, Fractastic have really brought it back, and it is ever since that one decisive round. Not going to say I called it, but I audibly called it. That was the round. If they win that, they're able to finally have some momentum, and they are taking advantage of it, still pulling out new strats. That's the important thing. They didn't just have a new strat that they brought out. They're doing new things every round to keep the Comets on their feet, to keep them on their toes, forcing them to adapt, and they're adapting with something aggressive right here. You can see the Brim ult already out.
Yeah, I can see the combination plays coming in. Not gonna reap too much though, but at least they know that there are players. Right there, they are a decoy. We'll even confirm that even further. So now we're seeing the rotations are coming in. Double J, he has been the danger man for the side of the Fractastics, and he can add a Pyro to that. And that looks like an insurmountable defense in the right circumstances. Nightfall is there. The answer will be the C's. Jumping Cow! Jumping kills! And Pyro is gonna get a second. Mars though, good for a trade. Showstopper could be very dangerous. It's gonna be good for 1. And now it's all up to Mars to hold it together here for the side of the Comet Spray. Needs to find up something. Needs to get up a huge kill. They're trying to find something there. It'll be good trades for the side of Fractastics, and that even with a 3K of the Flying Cow in the blender.
This game slipping out of the Comets' hands round by round. They all have just over 3,000 credits. That's not enough for most of them to get a full buy. I'd expect to see some kind of save here, but this is so late in the game to be forced into those kind of save positions. That's tough, and honestly, I can see a world where Fractastic 5 do run away with this.
Yeah, the momentum is surely on their side. The Stingers, though, we have seen that pull off some miracles for the side of the Comets, but we'll need to see more. Yoro is there. The fault line is there as well for setup. And now it will be all down to the Stags. They're trying to find something. The flash is beautiful. The kill is there. The full line will make sure that you will not be pushed. He will find 2, but that will be all. Mars is gonna claim it up. Rolling Thunder, rolling kills, a rolling Spear for the Double J. And that's round 11. A beautiful shutdown. Only 1 member going down for the side of the Fractastics.
You know, I had my doubts about Double J, I will admit it, when we were talking about him at the beginning of this game, but they've shown why they are such a valuable asset to the Fractastic 5. And look at that, 10 assists on the leaderboard. That's above their average. They're performing well enough to pull them back into the game, but not only that, potentially pull them to the victory. Bringing it back to the map select and the bigger picture, this is the map that the Fractastic 5 needed to win. This is what would typically be one of Comet's bans, so the map where they have the best chance of making something happen, and they might just put themselves in a spot where they have the smallest chance. But it is a chance. But they have a chance to take this best of 3.
Yeah, chance of maybe an inkling of something on the B-long area. You're talking about 2 players in a very dangerous position. I'm very intrigued to see how this one can go. Is there some sort of aggression? It looks like there is, but the answer is ready from the side of Fractastics. Maybe they have this equation locked down. Right now, it'll be very important to see how Blizz will handle this. Empress is unlocked. Yoro knows what's up. And Blitz is in the smoke sprayed down. Minty and Counter Blender on the other side though, holding it down, holding the fort. Now, it is all down to the last two players, Prey and Rayla. The two bottom frags, 10 pieces each. They will need to find 4 pops for the two of them here.
Left.
They need to surmount to 4 players with only 25 seconds to go. Just being played very slowly, very methodically. The usual from the sides of the comets here. And now we'll need to see something out of the drawer. Something out of the drawer, but it looks like that the Reach will get something out of his weaponry. Prey is stuck between a rock and a hard place, between an aftershock and a nightmare. And that will be match point for the Fractastics and a beautiful comeback.
Yeah, just like that, match point, and honestly, they look like they have a very strong hold. And is everyone on their team contributing? Everyone getting kills, their lowest kills at 13. That's not bad. Captain Roger's still there, still contributing, still being a valuable asset, and their economy unshakable. Even if Comets can scrape together this round, the next one, they'll have just as hard of defense to go up against. They need a miracle right now.
Yeah, they need a miracle. And they are relying on 2 Bulldogs and 2 Light Armors to put something out. A little bit of chip here. A lot of aggression. It looks like they are fighting fire with fire. Pyro will be only good for 1, and now the side could be exposed. 2 players are still in the A side, so this is the tougher side to take over. Double J is gonna be good for something. It looks like Stardust will be good for 1. Double J is just trying to stall. Showstopper in hand. Retake coming in. The pit as well. They're trying tooth and nail to take this round away. But now, you're walking out of the smoke. You're walking into the grasp of Double J. Double J is gonna be good for 2. A third. And it's all down to Prey. All in the Viper's pit. All in his lonesome. And Counter Blender through the pit to secure the game. For the side of the Fractastic, a Cinderella story being beautifully written, beautifully woven, and maybe a playoff spot in contention.
What a monumental, just overheat out play. They just walked out of the Viper's pit to close things out. Comets with no answers left to give, no way to bring themselves to victory at the end. They look like they had a solid control. They fumbled it a little bit, and then it completely fell out of their hands.
Indeed, a nail biter of a match indeed, but beautiful play from both teams. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, our friends over at Fractastic 5 have taken our first map, as you can see. And honestly, that was quite something to see. A lot of big plays coming out from, almost every round, and definitely some different play styles on either side of the equation. And I would sort of like to point out really the MVP strat there at the beginning. I think Comets came out really strong, as the favorable as the favorable team in this matchup. They really showed their dominance there in the first half with very good aggression, very good map sense, and their ability to take especially their eco rounds and turn them into wins, I think was especially critical for their wins there in that half. However, once we saw at Fractastic 5 flip things around there in that second half, they were unstoppable. And not to mention, I think, a quick shout out to our player Double J, who definitely showed up to play there in that second half. And gentlemen, any big thoughts you want to put out there before we go to break?
One very concerning point for sure, as we're seeing some of the hottest moments in the game. He had a double right click. I don't know, it's just too much.
That was the beginning at the end.
Yeah. Like for me personally, I think that the actual beginning of the end was the side of the Fractastics shutting down Blitz and Mars. They were combining beautifully. They gave the 7-3 lead to their team. But at the end of the map, like Mars only amounted to 22. I think he was like so down tremendously from the defensive side onwards of the Fractastic. They just managed to hold it down. They managed to find an answer to these players, and you know, at least for a controller, it's quite understandable. Yeah, attack isn't gonna be your strongest suit. You have to rely a lot on your teammates. But Blitz, he has massively slowed down, and if that continues to be the tempo, if they manage to control and tame these two players, it could spell disaster, and maybe Fractastics are gonna guarantee their playoff spot here.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent analysis. I second on everything that you said, and it's honestly crazy to me how much it feels like Comets fell towards the end of that. Like they don't look like the #1 seed in the second half of that map.
Yeah, I'd agree with you there, Easel. However, I would like to sort of look back there on the first half where I was noticing, and you guys pointed this out, that Fractastic 5 was taking a lot of force buys there and not really turning it into anything. And I think that did play to their downfall a bit in that first half, because they were constantly force buying, you know, especially in the weirdest situations. You know, towards the end there, it's round 10. You've got 2 more rounds until the half switch. You could drop around there if you want. You could do a full save so you can have just the right amount of cash there at the end to maybe secure 1 more round. But we saw that force buy come out, and I was just very, very confused on that. And I think had they taken those decisions a little bit differently and maybe bought a bit, you know, for lack of a better term, smarter, I do think they would have picked up a few more rounds there in the first half, because they were certainly pulling some momentum back. And we'll see if we can carry that momentum back into this next map here. I'm Baldingo's Mike, joined by my friends Vault and Easel, and we shall see you in a bit.
Yeah.
Back from the break, I'm Beldingo's Mike, joined here by Vault and Easel. And as we go into this second map here between Fractastic 5 and Comet Esports Club, what a game one. What a game one. Vault, I know that we were discussing earlier how Prey definitely showed up to play as a factor for Comet Esports Club. And any thoughts on that notion?
I mean, he has played the Viper pretty okay. Like, he hasn't been stellar or anything, but you can definitely not notice that, like, oh, there is any sort of dysfunction within the team or within the synergy. You can say that they are still a unit, even with a substitute in. And that can be a very hard ask to a lot of emergency substitutions or people that don't scrim together very often. You can lose track of some of the crossfires, some of the setups, but it looks like they are coming prepared for this matchup. And now it will be that preparation that can make or break the breeze. And we've already seen both teams shying away from the sky. So maybe I'll bounce it to Easel on my side. Wait, Easel's here.
Other side, yeah.
Yeah. So I'll take it over to you. Where do you think it will actually go? Like, will they keep shying away from the sky now that they didn't want to play her in her best map? Or what do you think that the comps will look like now with 507 on the court?
Remind me, we're going to Breeze?
Yes, we are going to Breeze.
I'd say, honestly, kind of a similar composition. I definitely wouldn't expect to see as much Brimstone. That Viper pick, much more likely to come through. That wall, just invaluable for breaking up the sites. But I wouldn't be surprised if we do see some less conventional picks coming through again from Fragtastic 5. Some of their most successful rounds are the ones where they just threw something crazy out. And it felt like they were really doing their best Paper Rex impression, you know, when they send 5 people through the teleporter. Or maybe it's just I see Yoru on Bind and that's all I can ever think of. But it also is in the fact that they have weird strats that work sometimes. Obviously their force buys weren't working great, but you have to take those gambles. You have to take the risks to get, you have to have the low lows to have the high highs. I'll leave it at that. And it really feels like they were able to do that. The other thing I want to touch on, Fragtastic 5, Volt, you were talking about them being a bit of a dark horse. Yeah, they're able to take the first one. Question is, can they ride that momentum? Because that was one of Comet's typical bans. So now they're going to be going into somewhere that's, well, one of their bands, and where Comets are definitely going to look a bit more comfortable.
Indeed. And as we also get into Breeze here, I do think that this is going to be a map. You know, we've discussed it here. It's very large. There's a lot of utility and coordination that has to go into taking these sites, not only on the initial take, but on the retakes and then on the holds. We've seen too many times these teams will cut up a site and use all their utility in an initial take or a retake and then end up having nothing left in post plant. And so I think that will be the determining factor here for both of these teams going into this, as well as I think from the side of Comets, I noticed in that last game, there's a lot of very big individual plays. Not to say that they aren't playing as a team, but in certain rounds, there are critical moments of pop off, for lack of a better term, from these players that I think may not show up as much on a map like Breeze, where teamwork is very quintessential. That is not to say that either of these teams are lacking, as we saw both teams perform beautifully on that last map. And I think that here, now more than ever, as I've said too many times already, this is where things will shake out, really.
Yeah, we get to see whether the coveted 2-0 underdog sweep will come through, or if Comet's Esports Club is going to need to do a little bit of a reverse sweep. Sure, it's not a best of 5, but still, getting the next 2 maps in a row will be a feat of itself. Even though they don't have as much stakes on the table, they still are going to have to fight for it if they want anything to come out of this. The other question is, are they giving it their all? I'm not 100% convinced that was them at full capacity, because I felt like they kind of didn't have much to show on the other side. And maybe it's just the hopium in me that's like, okay, they're saving strats. You know, that's what it always is when the team that you think is going to be good doesn't do well, they're saving strats. That's the rule. And maybe they're going to continue saving strats and just let Fragtastic secure their position. I don't think so, though. The way that Blitz and Stardust were showing up, they were putting the numbers on the table that we do expect from them, getting the kind of frags, at least in some parts, if not throughout the whole game.
I think that's a pretty good way to put it, Easel. Vault, what are your thoughts? What are your 2 cents on that?
I mean, when we're talking about the game, during the game, me and Easel, we're talking how good the setups were from the side of the Comets, but also the fact that the side of the Fragtastics were a little bit too aggressive in some situations, and that can come to bite you on Breeze. Breeze is very open. A wrong misstep and you could be caught between 3 or 4 positions that are very far away from each other. The flicks are very hard, they're very big. So you need to be concise and you need to have a very good grasp of the situation. And that aggressiveness, while it can work in the side of Bind, where the map is pretty small and there really isn't that much to look at, on Breeze, that could spell disaster for the side of the Fragtastics. You know, you can just give away a player in mid and suddenly you've lost the entirety of the map, because the sides themselves are so big and the mid area is so enormous and so spacious that where do you go from here? How can you play all of that back?
On the other hand, though, that aggression could pay off beautifully, because Breeze is, I remember when I first started playing it in ranked, we'd be like, okay, wait, flanking's great on this map because you can get so far behind people and they won't hear you until you're pretty much right up on site with them. So
wonderful. And on that note, I believe I'll be handing it off to these 2 beautiful individuals here on my left, Vault and Easel. as we get here into Breeze, our second map of tonight. And I will see you all in a bit. I think I will keep speaking until the caster go out. Oh, just like that. I'm gone.
And just like
Thank
that,
you.
he's gone. Off mic, off screen. And we're getting some agent picks. I like the 5 Reyna select on the left side. I wish we could see them do a full random, but it doesn't look like that'll actually come through.
Yeah, the carousel. It's not gonna come in, unfortunately, you know? It's in the name, though. It's the Fractastic 5, so if they did it, it would have been absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, if anyone was going to do a 5 duelist composition, it would be them. But on a more serious composition on the other side, it does look like Combat Esports Club have that Stardust on the Jet. This is a very popular pick on the map. Look at this. We have the Viper coming through. This is exactly what we're talking about. This is what you expect. Cypher, once again, been brought back into the meta just by how he's played on Breeze, because he gets so spread that Killjoy gets kind of useless. And I love the Sova. I love to see it. That being comboed with the KO, this is going to be an information game. Wait, that KO, Sova, and Cypher, they're going to have so much information to play with on their side of the map.
You're talking about 3 information agents, and KO still do have the flashes. Jet does have the mobility, and the takeaway of the chamber, though, is gonna be the intriguing part, because now you don't have that tour de force that is a safety net on the eco round. So the eco rounds are gonna be a little bit harder for the side of the Comets here, but will it pay back with the way that you are setting yourself up to succeed? With the KO, with the Cypher, you're having a lot of flank quads, a lot of information, as you've said. How will they utilize that? It's gonna be all about the utilization of what you have. Using what you got is gonna be the name of the game here as we kick it off.
Absolutely, and with starting on attack, interesting that Comet's still elected to go for that Cypher pick. Not going to be the most valuable, except to watch the flanks. That's pretty much going to be his main use coming into this, because like we said, Breeze is the kind of map that you are most likely to get flanked on. And coming into this round, it's going to be what appears to be a heavy B hit, so they're definitely going to want at least a feeler for where the flank is coming through, and if they need to keep some eyes in that direction. I'm not sure if my co-caster's internet went out or what the deal is. His cam is no longer here, so I'll go ahead and keep going. We have FF going up towards B site. It does look like it's going to end up being a pretty quick hit going out. We see the jet dash into smoke, a classic move right up into Viper's face, and does get the opening pick. Stardust opening up site and taking an aggressive position up against the Viper wall. Spike is going to go down without much contention. Just like that. And on the retake, FF is looking to get a little bit of information, but really they don't have much to work with. They don't have much utility, so they're just trying to clear the angles one at a time, but they don't clear Stardust, and so they get a second one for their name. Getting spammed through the wall a little bit, but does have the dash. That is their safety net. Cow in the Blender has been noticed on the flank, which is the silver lining in this round. Not able to line up the shots though. Mars with just the ghost takes him out, and now down to a 2v4. No time left on the clock. Comets have ran this down beautifully, and nothing left to do. They die anyways. That's 1 on the board for Comets.
Yeah, beautiful from the Comets and a beautiful cover from Easel. Thank you very much. That was a weird Valorant hiccup. I don't know what happened. It's just like Valorant decided we're not having it today, so we will be back.
No worries. It was an interesting round to talk about. They got some nice, fast, aggressive aggression onto B site, and they capitalized on it beautifully. They took very forward positions, and well, they played off of it beautifully. I'm interested to see if they'll be able to do that again as they are approaching this A site. It looks like actually to be a little bit more of a tunnel push, at least an information game at the very least, as Chamber's trying to keep this locked down, but there are 3 players on the other side waiting to greet him if he swings this angle.
Ooh.
Has the TP to get away after taking some damage.
Yeah, it's getting very frisky here, but at least the side of the Comets are gonna have some ground to gain. They did some okay damage as well to Cow in a Blender. It looks like it will succeed in drawing some fire out of their like oven here. But Cow in a blender, what a beautiful shot here. Jump spot is gonna be good here, is gonna claim some information that is very important in a save round like that. As well as the knife, and now it is looking very doable with only 47 seconds here, Easel. Not that much space to find, and the take is coming in. It's gonna be at any second now, and it's all down to Double J. He needs to be able to find something, but he will not.
With just a classic, it's going to be a difficult call to do, and Rayla finds them out. Left. Now 2 players on the flank trying to find any heads anywhere, but the Viper Wall denying so much information. Such a valuable pick on this map, almost a must pick, you could argue. Stardust playing for early aggression, looking for the contact.
Yeah, the contact very close. They're trying to find anything here. Rogers, you're gonna have to play around the block. Stardust is in a very exposed position, but at least Rayla will be good for that one. Pyro, though, will not be able to find anything at all. And that 3K will seal round 2 here. Comets on a very bright start so far.
Yeah, Comets are shining bright, and keep in mind, this is their map pick. This is their kind of anti-pick that we were talking about at the very beginning. So it makes sense, and with Stardust at 5 kills, that's really good. It's okay that Prey doesn't have anything because Prey's utility is all they need. Really, that is why they have Prey on this map. A cheeky little camera coming out from Rayla. Love to see it. I haven't seen that one before. Gonna allow them to see over into top mid. I like it. I like it. But they have a nice bonus coming into this round, looking to see if they can boost their economy by not spending too much and securing the W still.
Yeah, Viper spotted here. Side is already run over. It's only down to Pyro. Not being able to spot anything at all. Ooh, knives are coming out already on the buy round, no less. So they're trying to secure the round with tooth and nail. Pyro! What a beautiful wall bang. Is gonna get the equalizer for his team. The Fragtastics are on the hunt. They're trying to find the frags, and they are doing so. But Mars will retaliate, so will Prey. Blitz. And it's all down to Pyro here. Already good for 2. Tailwinding on the kill. And the reload will at least mean that he gets the 3K. Only 1. Time is ticking very low. Looking more and more undoable. And the bonus will be converted. Thomas with the 3rd. But almost getting it done.
Oh, such a good reposition at the end as well, just to secure it. Mars pushing forward, not allowing their position to be red because they hadn't been spotted out before. Heroics nearly from both sides, and with a little bit of a whiff there, a little bit of a unconventional duel, you would argue. Pyro was able to make it close. Not quite enough. On the board, Mars still hasn't died. 4-0. That's not a bad start. And because they were able to get that bonus, they're just going to keep bonusing it and building up the bank. Yeah, they have a couple buys, but they also have a couple players with very respectable amounts of credits.
Yeah, and that silence is absolutely immense here. Pyro, without the knives, without the Blade Storm, isn't gonna be able to surmount that much value. Flash, not so good, but the 0 point is forcing Rogers out, and he's dead. Pyro, though, is gonna be good for 1, but that would be traded. The economy damage will be very important. We're seeing 2 marshals and probably a headhunter from Counter Blender trying to find anything, trying to vie for that little bit of damage in the economy of the Comets, but they're not giving them any breathing space. Knife is beautiful. It will spot Cow. It makes sure that he won't be able to use any utility. And now, walking into the Doom, walking into the site, but not before getting a gun and getting a kill. And oh no, the second was very close. That would have made the round very doable. Now, down to a 2v1, whips back and forth with a 3K for Mars to seal it. And that's 4-0 and 7-0 for Mars. Already on the breeze. Another quickfire start from the man himself.
Yeah, we saw it. We were talking about it felt like a strong start from Comets on Bind, and this feels like an even stronger start. Sure, they petered out a little bit towards the end of Bind, but if they can start stronger than they did, which they are, even if they peter out, they might have enough buffer this time to be able to work with it and at least make that strong start count for something as they go for another fast B hit. This time there are 4 players on this side of the map that they're going to have to deal with.
Yep, no command is very good. Blitz brought low, but nothing to gain here from the side of the Fractastics. Sniper Pit used as well. 2 ultimates in quick succession to take the site and 2 kills with it. Easel, and the retake looks very close. But I wonder, they think they will try for it or will they save?
Yeah, I think it'd be a save. Their economy's not strong enough that they can rebuy into this. They're just looking to deal a little bit of damage without exposing themselves too much and just going for exits. You can see on their position, they're covering every corner. That's all it's going to work out to be. And honestly, this feels like the smartest move that they've made yet. Last game, they got too caught up in the economy game. On so many force buys, on so many light buys. They're trying to avoid that at least a little bit, and I heavily respect it. I love to see it. Maybe Viper going to be able to get a single pick for their efforts here and get away with a gun too.
Let's see. Mars is gonna get it. Okay, God bless. That is a good kill. Yeah,
a good
sure,
kill, but just a silver lining.
Yeah.
0 and 5 now.
Yep, 0 and 5. A very comfortable buffer. You would say even more comfortable than the bind start here. And this time, you have another person that is stepping up. That is not Blitz next to Mars as Stardust. Talking 7-3-1 on the Jet, providing value, being very explosive on the takes. It looks like we will have probably a very slow round here. The typical other side of the column is just taking control very slowly, and Sova could be meeting somebody in the tunnel area, but it looks like that won't be the case.
Yeah, they're going to have to go quick because they're getting flanked through mid, and they acknowledge that, not taking too much time. Good flash to secure that site information with the Viper's Wall. Another easy plant coming down. However, Hunter's Fury to deny any information back onto site.
Stardust, that kill is very important in the yellow area. Now, Sword of Force in the hand of Cow and a Blender. Needs to find something with it. At least Spyro is providing some value, being the thorn in their back from the cave area. Attention is focused on the Jet. That will allow Stardust, though, to break aggression and get an instant 4K clean from the Jet.
All right, clip that. That's a clip.
On top of the scoreboard.
Yeah, that one's going in the highlight reel for sure. That was a beautiful kill and dash at the end from Stardust and killing their mental. 6 and 0. You see like a 2-0. It's like, okay, they won the pistols. A 3-0 and a 4-0. Still like they're building off that momentum. A 6-0. Not only have they had momentum, but they've beaten you on your buy rounds as well. That's why this timeout finally comes through from the side of Fantastic 5.
Yeah, you gotta wonder, what will the mental play a point here? Will it play a part? Now that you can feel, oh, it is so close, that the actual confirmation of us getting into playoffs is so close for the side of the Fractastics. Could that be, like you can say, is the end of the line nerves playing a part? They're trying to get a mental reset, but will it be enough so far? You gotta have it over to the Comets. They are running it over, absolutely bulldozing the Breeze. We're talking about it. They just know how to utilize the bigger space for their advantage so far, Easel. But where do you think that they have highlighted that the most?
Just in their fast hits. Yeah, sure, they've had some decent rotations, but we haven't seen a lot of that slow game. They'll wait a second, and they are patient in waiting to hit, but once they decide they're going into a site, they're going into a site and nobody's stopping them. They're clearing every corner so methodically and working so well as a team that it's like, it's GG's once they decide they're hitting a site, or at least that's what it feels like in these first 6 rounds.
That's what it feels like, and it feels like there is some blood that could be drawn from the chamber. Not paying attention to the angle, the peak will widen and widen. Minty, though, could spill danger, could find something, but he is being the one that is spammed through. Headhunter will not be able to find the head this time around. but at least the side will be taken over. You can see the nerves are playing a part. The pop flash, the recently nerfed pop flash does not matter. This is good for one for a second, but Blender with a beautiful shot is at least gonna recuperate something. The joust is back on between the two teams, but looks like the side of the Comets is on top. Whiffs what's saved, recovered here, and finally some 2v2 action. The Guardians are there. The headshots could be theirs. The round is very doable.
But it is
gotta hand it over.
Yeah, it is a 2v3 though, not a 2v2. They are still in a man disadvantage, and now in a double man disadvantage, all up to Captain Rogers to take control of the sinking ship that is the round. Not going to happen, and Prey closing it out, making it look dominant. They got 1 or 2 picks, and he said, yeah, they're making it look doable, it's making it look possible, but 1 or 2 isn't enough. You need 3 minimum, 4. Maybe you can get the defuse out or start actually getting all 5 picks and you have a chance at contesting these rounds. They're just losing on a fundamental level. It feels like a bit of a gun diff right now.
Yeah, and you know, you actually gotta mention that. I think now we're talking about like losing at a fundamental level. Fundamentally, once again, a very slow start for Double J. Not even racking that much assists in the grand scheme of things. It looks like the Fractastics are trying to speed it over in the mid area, but that will leave Rogers very exposed. He's been very reliable, very dependable in the first map of Bind, but now it will be very dangerous. A beautiful position for Pyro. A trigger discipline will make him good for 2. And finally, a breath of fresh air, but not before the over-aggression bites back for Ryla.
Tried to get the swing, but unable to capitalize. Only now, Minty is retaking that space. They still have good mid control, but they don't know where the attack is coming through. Just Jet watching the cross, trying to catch a timing.
Ooh, the arrow is gonna indicate danger. Pyro is aware, no tailwind though. So he'll need to find the kills. The lineup was almost there. A 3k from the Jet. And finally the retreat. Now, this is the closest the side of the Fractastics have reached. They're trying to seal the deal, and the 4th from Pyro will guarantee that beautiful play from start to finish here, holding his nerves, holding his aggression, finally putting his team on the board. But you know who isn't on the board, Easel? It's Double J. And I wonder when will that change.
I wonder too, but I'm just remembering, I'm getting flashbacks of last map when I was like, oh, Double J has no kills. And then the whole rest of the map, they spent heating up, ending with over 20 kills. So I wouldn't count Double J out of it. You know, they start out slow, but that's okay. That's going to happen again. And I'm not too confident in that win that they just got there. That was all thanks to their Jet. Nobody else, like, Jet got 4 kills. And if it's a solo player making those plays, you can't rely on that to happen consistently.
Yeah, it is a heroic after all. It was just a one-off of holding a very unorthodox position. And now, let's see, if we're gonna play the disciplined way, the smart way, you're already seeing a tailwind being used by Pyro here early on. Space is gathered and map control is being conceded in a lot of grounds. So I'll be wondering.
They've slowed it down a lot. I was talking about they decide they're hitting a site and they go for it, and they are taking a really long time to decide that they're gonna hit this B site. I'm looking forward to the explosion when it happens, but it's taking a while. The bomb is taking a while to tick down for their own explosion before they can even get the spike down itself.
Yeah, 45. It looks like the go button has been pressed. Tailwind is primed. No command is there, and 0 point in hand as well, but Pyro will get him down, trying to spray through the smoke, trying to find anything, but the resurrection will be at place. And now it is down for the Fractastics to find something. They know where Rogers is, and a wall bang could be imminent. Here's another no command. Now we'll need to see more. Trace coming back and forth is for the favor for the Fractastics. It will be confirmed by Rogers. There will not be equilibrium, but Prey will gather it back into V2. It's looking very close. The Viper is trying to take matters into her own hand. A scientist is trying to fight the killer robot, and she will fail and take that for brains. You better pray you never walk into that man again.
What a weird Viper's Pit. And somehow it ends up working out. Another round on the board. The same sort of explosive sight hit. I was waiting and praying myself that they would do that kind of hit because that's what's been working so well for them. I'm glad they're still able to recognize that, not get discouraged, and do what works well for them. They did it, and they walked away with the W. Sure, it got dicey again, but these things do happen. And on the other side, good for Fragtastic to make that close and not letting them run away with it. However, they have read this correctly. 3 people pushing into the stack have the option to shut it down early.
Okay, they're taking the trades back and forth. Pyro is going to be good for one on the operator. You need that to pay a lot of dividends in this round. We're seeing a very quick rotation. Losing 2 members here could be the beginning of the end. We're seeing a very good adaptation. 2 kills already from Double J. It looks like the side of the Fragtastics are waking up. They're spotting the Viper. They're taking some damage, but that will not impede their entry. And it will be another retake, but this time it could be a lot closer. We don't really have a lot of ultimates, not that much util left for the side of the Comets.
Oh, his head was shot. Someone check Pyro PC. Not right. No, they saw him fall behind the wall, able to get that shot, and that's a huge opener on the round. Remaining 2 players left on site, and they know that. They know exactly where they're hiding.
You know, the timing is very good. Pyro with a third, and you know, we're talking about the tried and tested, the very methodical way of playing Valorant. And finally, Fragtastics are catching up 8-2. If they manage to keep that momentum, it could be deja vu, it could be 8-4 once again. And then you're getting into the heads of the Comets members if you do that.
Yeah, if they get this to an 8-4 scoreline, that will be honestly better than like a 5-7. An 8-4 makes Comets think like, oh no, it's going to happen again. We've let this slip once before, and it's difficult to keep fragging out. From the other side, we are seeing Pyro on the top frag on that 13-8 being the raid boss that they needed to pull them into this, if not Double J.
Yeah, if not, it looks like once again slowing it down here from the side of the Comets, trying to find anything, but the mid aggression will at least signal that there isn't really that much outside of a single side. That now it's all down to Double J. He hasn't been that active recently. The pop flash will be good for a second, and that man, he's heating up. He's heating up, but Prey will shut him down. Hunter's Fury, let's see what will it be good for. Looks like Counter Blender doesn't care, but well, he better shoot Pyro. Good for one more. You're not paying attention, and Minty take it down. It looks like the 8-4 is very imminent, very close. Like, you gotta give it to the side of the Fragtastics. Once they get the ball going, you feel like it's not just a ball, it's an entire plow going through.
We were talking about Double J, and Double J said, I took that personally. Getting a nice opening 2K to get them into the round, give them the option, and there just hasn't been any response from Comets. They have these good executes, but then it feels like they run out of the script. They're following what to do, and then they don't know what to do next. It doesn't feel fully fleshed out. Once again, another A hit being lined up. This didn't work previously. I'm surprised to see them continue to press the issue.
And you can look at it once again, just taking a lot of mid control, but this time a variation is coming through, and it will go through Minty, who's jump spotting. I think he has an idea of what's going on, and once again it will all be down to Double J, unless they decide to pull the Alamo drone. They didn't spot that much, but at least you know that somebody is in the proximity, in the vicinity, and the orb is gonna go down now. It's gonna be down to Pyro and Minty to try to find anything, any inkling of danger, any misstep from either side, and it could spell disaster.
Oh, they're aware, but not able to line up the pre-fire, just waiting for the peak to come through. Damage being dealt. Blitz the patience.
Ooh, looks like the kill is gonna come this time for the side of the Comets. Minty will be taken down, and so will Double J. Silence is the killer robot, and the site
seconds
is
left.
open. And now another retake that they are tasked with, but they have some tools. But the worrying part is how late the Viper rotate is coming in from the side of Rogers. Blitz in a very dangerous position. Will the check come in? Will it come in? The barrel will give it tell. Pyro will clean it up. And now it's down for Pyro and Rogers. They've both been very dependable, but looks like Stardust is feeling like this star needs to be shut down. The storm is gonna be good. I was flustered. That was extremely ballsy from Stardust, but you know what?
An
It
ego
pays off.
peak.
It pays off. Yeah, it pays off. Ego peak. If you're that good, you just get it.
Stardust not letting Pyro run away with it just yet, getting that kill to put them just 1 kill away. No jet diff happening here, both of them contributing immensely. And now with the 9-3 scoreline, this is different. This is different. We talked about if it was that 4-8, you start to say, oh, it's written in the cards, the Comets are done for. But they've made it 9-3. Yes, they whiffed the previous half when they went over to the other half. But they have 1 extra round for a little bit more comfort. That could be the difference maker.
Yeah, the pistol round will be of the utmost importance, though, easily. Gotta say, like, if they get double digits this early on, it could spell disaster. And you can see Cypher is setting up a very nice defensive hold here. And they will need to find a lot early on in that A side if that is gonna be their choice.
I would never say it spells disaster for FF when they have the chance, although it is Stardust to open it up on defense up on the stairs, being a menace.
Spike down A.
Yeah, Blitz is gonna link up for the second. Double J in a very good position, and he will claim his prize. 2, 3, and Blitz, his position is known. And now he's pincered between a rock and a hard place. He needs to find something, but he will not. The pincer move is successful, and 3K from Blitz to shut down the doppelganger. And double digits already, Easel. It's looking like map 3 is on the cards.
I still won't call it, not until they can get to 11 at least, because they were held at 10 for a long time. And this round could go either way. We do have a buy coming through from multiple agents on both sides. Pyro and Double opting to go for the Marshall. They like these kind of gamble plays, and sometimes they pay off. This could be the time. FF not out of it yet, going for an aggressive mid push.
No armors though, which means that they do have ideas of at least have buying on the next round regardless of what the outcome is. Still, it is gonna come up to Stardust. He will be the first face to come in, and he shall clean it up perfectly. Now they're lining up on him. The right clicks, the classic once again, will real supreme, but not before Blitz is getting taken down. Double J now, his stacks was holding that over. They are stuck. They have nowhere to go. They need to find an opening. They need to force something to happen. We need to see a spark of brilliance here. So.
Yeah, and the encounter happening in their spawn, so important. Mars does win it out, but is caught on the reload. It's still possible, a 2v3, weapons acquired, and they've found the solo player to isolate. Just need to clear out prey in backside.
Ooh, they will. Okay, that makes it doable. That makes it scary.
2v2.
The retake will not come in instantly, so they will have at least some sort of a breather. They have an inkling of information as well, but the Cypher will be very pivotal already. Double J brought down to the red. 2 players in the red, and looking like a very scary round. Let's see. Not that much util left though. And Double J has managed to slip through. Blitz will get the kill. But now Double J is gonna be good for the first. The stick is coming through here. It's gonna be halved, and the peak will be beautiful. On point, on cue for the 11th here for the side of the Comets.
It's Rayla to save it for Comets, not letting it slip out of their grasp a second time. They're putting on their serious face, putting on their business face, and well, contributing enough to bring them to 2 rounds away from securing it all, and they might have a chance to do it, but I wouldn't bet on this round with 3 ghosts, Sheriff and a Bulldog, it's definitely a bit of a bonus. If they secure this round, I'd say they're taking map 3 as well.
Yeah, if they are, but now that half buy, it has some dangers in it. You have 1 point away from the null command, and only 1 point away as well from the Viper spit, so there is a chance, and the buy from the side of the Comets is very light, but that flank that we are seeing from both Stardust
no.
and Mars. Oh, I was gonna say, but Caster Curse unless it's Caster's blessing with a nice shot here from Stardust. And now, where do you go? Suddenly you're stuck in mid, you don't have A control, you don't have B control. You have nowhere to go, you're stuck in the middle of the map with a minute to go. It looks like Minty is trying to force that A hit, but now it all lies down onto Minty to try to find a second to try to let them in. The chip damage will be good onto Blizz. It looks like the entry to the site will be guaranteed through that wall.
A good mid wall, good adaptation to not have to deal with the player lurking in cave. And now you have like kind of the defensive angle up on stairs to block this retake. It's almost like the tables have turned, but the Comets were good on attack and they're being put in a similar position. So it's like the same thing. We're gonna have a second wall come through almost parallel to the first one. Okay, no, they're starting to get an idea of how not to do that. That would have been a little bit weird to see.
Yeah, it looks like they are reading though. They are reading it. Minty is doing so well. 3k here. Could be good for the fourth. No, that will be Rogers. Hold down to a prey with a ghost in the smoke. At least gonna be good for one though. Peekaboo.
Teleport's ready.
But the fourth will be fantastic. And finally, some momentum, something is happening after a little bit of a setup early on.
No. Stop drinking your copium. They won a round against 4 pistols. I don't think that is quite the W that you need. Sure, it's a little bit of an ego boost, but what really does that mean? Not much, because now they have guns on the board. Stardust has an op. That's going to be a lot harder to force like a win out of.
Yeah, but it's the glass cannon. That option is there. The null command is there on the B side, and Prey will be taken down. And well, it looks like the op won't have that much effectiveness in the Viper spec either. So Easel, they are well prepared for that buy. And now the side retake has to ensue from the side of the Comets.
And they still have good guns to work with on this retake, so very possible, although going to be difficult through that ult that has been dropped. Chamber, actually, look at the map. He just uses TPs to go over the Cypher trip and get on the flank. So intelligent, so late in the round, doing huge damage.
Ooh, the pincer is beautiful. They have no clue of Mars though, but it will be shut down almost instantaneously. And that's the 5th, and the op down, and the economy ruined. And now, maybe now, the copium can be real.
Okay, yeah. I'll allow it to happen.
Albeit, it is very unlikely, but hope still lives on for the Fractastics.
I'm gonna have to keep replaying that situation in my head. I've never seen a Chamber do that. He came up on a Cypher trap, recalled his things, waited like 20 seconds for his TPs to recharge, and then TP'd like 2 feet to get over the Cypher trip waiting for him, and able to get the rounds changing flank, and it's Pyro with the opening shot to get this, as there's a 5-man aggression happening in Halls.
Yep, thank you very much for the op, and that will be utilized to perfection. And now it's on to Cow in a blender, but he will be put through the Gringer himself. And there we go. The Eco is trying to come up with something. This Rayla that will come up with the rifle, but Double J looks like he is getting active. The pop flashes, they have been nerfed. It looks like he has been as well. Sit down, robot. And now it's looking very doable. A lot of util still in the back of the side of the Comets here.
But no time on the Comet side. They have to kill on Spike almost immediately. Too much pressure coming from both sides to deal with. Even if they can get those picks, it's almost impossible. Just trying to get a pick there. Mars able to get one. Okay, I see you. And
I think that will be a second. Does he have enough time to get out? He does.
Yeah, he does.
Okay.
Just barely.
Yeah, and gets the off as well, which is very important for the economy if you want to maintain that weapon. Looks like they do. So now,
This
6
is-
to 11.
This is exactly where they ran away with Bind. If you're looking at the timeline, this is exactly what the Bind timeline looked like, although 1 round sooner because they were able to win that round against the Eco Buy.
Yeah, and you know, one of the things that were very prominent about the first half, the side of Comets weren't able to keep up with the off. But now on attack, which is considerably, or arguably you can say, the weaker side of the operator. Still, Breeze is the biggest map, so it has a lot of strengths, but will they be able to cope with the gun? That is going to be the question. We're seeing a lot of slow and steady play from the side of the Fractastics. Pretty much unlike them, but they are very methodical. They know that they are on a very tight rope here.
Yeah, as this matchup gets deeper into it, it feels like Fragtastic actually get more diligent. Like they actually are playing more disciplined and more as a team. They're growing, they're evolving, and Prey gets the opening pick, but they're still playing together, so they still have a shot.
Wait, the backstab though. The backstab from Stardust could be absolutely deadly, if not the hold itself. The hold is beautiful, but Pyro and Minty will manage to dismantle that. And now it's down to the Jet in the window position. Could have a lot of impact. Will only be good for 1 though. And Minty, the spray down between the 2 is not that clean, but Prey will pick it up. And now a 2v2 looking very doable here. Stardust with massive impact and Prey with the 3k match point from the jaws of a side fake.
Stardust, I'd say the MVP, not because of their kills, but because of that flank right there. Yeah, you're giving them no chance to plant. If Stardust wasn't there, they're getting the spike down and they can get in defensive positions. But instead, they're forced to deal with 2 different angles, and it's just not possible. It's just not happening. That is the round that the Comets were missing in the previous time. They didn't have those kind of flanks coming from Stardust. Here we saw it. Here we saw it go big, and now they're ready to bring this map home.
Yeah, and now I'm waiting for the clash between the 2 ops, and Stardust will reign supreme. Already an advantage for the side of the Comets, and this could be the beginning of the end. This could be the curtain call for the side of the Fractastics, and it looks like Stardust is gonna make sure that that happens. You know, it's a Comet, but in the back, in the rear, somewhere in the galaxy, you can see a star dying, and that star could be Fractastics, but no. Minty is keeping the flame, is keeping the spark alive. And now the take needs to come in. They need to find something. A moment of brilliance. A plant at least will be the consolation.
Spike planted.
And 3 players alive, that's still something to work with, especially when they're able to equalize it like that. Double J taking a long time to get heated up, but now on a rampage, giving them a shot to stay in this game.
Yeah, giving them a shot, but the shot almost taken away by Blizz here. Cornered, flushed down, but no, an injured animal is the deadliest. Maybe an injured robot will spell disaster, but no, beautiful here from Blitz. A 1v2, the discipline is great from Rogers. Still have some util in hand, but he will peak and he will win on a slimmer 5 HP to keep the dream alive.
Oh man, this game cannot get more tense just when you think one team is ready to run away with it. Not quite. And Fractastic 5 starting to look like they're not just the middle of the pack, like they actually could be contenders if they can make it to playoffs to be champions. Still putting in the board. They're going to need Cow and a Blender to turn up a little bit more too, though. Only 8 and 16 on the board. That's not the kind of scoreline you want to see from Chamber on your Breeze. So if Cow and a Blender can turn up with this ult coming through right here, that could be it.
Yeah, that could be it. But now you gotta wonder. Stardust, he's been doing magnificently. The Marshal could do a miracle. He's at least gonna get the chip. The Fury will make sure that the Jet is stuck there, but a beautiful escape. But squandered as Minty manages a beautiful recovery. The side take is coming thick and fast with the classic. Pride, boom, pow, and the 1-2. But Minty has a trade on it. This time though, Blitz will not be able to escape the trademark. And this Hunter's Fury will not be as effective as the other one.
Yeah, Mars a little bit too late on that. Too good, too late, and just gets stabbed in the back by Cow and a Blender, getting a frag on the board at last. all up to blitz in mid with the classic. That's not quite the gun you want to do the job.
Yeah, boom, pow, bada bing, bada pow. Robot is gonna take you down in the middle of the town. And well, that's 8 to 12.
Yeah, boom, boom,
is
chow.
Yeah, it's still a very tight rope though. The op from the side of Stardust was very dominant when it was present. It even won the 1v1 matchup against Pyro. So now you gotta wonder what will happen with that op once again in the hands of that man. Could it spill disaster? Could it finally be the curtain call? Or we will have one more haul from the side of the Fractastics.
I'm ready to see the Jet diff continue to come through. We do have the Viper's Pit though, and that's going to be tough to deal with before you can do anything else. Prey forced back. Might be too long for their pit to stay up, but at least it has deterred them and gotten their health low before they even got on site.
Yeah, but they're coming out wounded, they're coming out decayed, and it looks like the side of the Comets knows that and they're trying to utilize that. But Cow in the Blender will take it back. A 4v4, Cow in the Blender in a very dangerous position. He managed to procure himself to safety. The op not fast enough, the op not quick enough, the equip time not quick enough, and it looks like aggression is not the correct move here, but at least he managed to stall it, finally finding value. The arrow will be beautiful, the push will be even better. Cherry on the top will be double J triple, and finally they will manage to get their footing down, shutting down the op, shutting down the gun round for the very first time in what seems to be a forever right now.
I told you, do not start doubting Double J. That's when they come alive. They had, wait, what was it? Was it like 0 and 7? Like 5-6 rounds into the game, and now they're 18 and 18 even on the KD, and with 18 kills tied for top frag with their Jet. Double J is a slow heater to say the least, but turning up when they need them the most. And now it feels so real. It feels so possible. The dream is there. There's a little bit of a trap play on B they're gonna have to deal with.
They could be walking into the nightmare. That is gonna be the question. They are aware on Double J coming up huge, but Prey! Oh, only good for 2. Has my heart out. Stardust! Stardust! No! Don't wither now!
Stardust whiffing monumentally with the Jet knives. Yeah, they're hard to use, but that's not the time you can allow that to happen. Nothing but a classic to try and get this round on the board.
One enemy remaining.
Hostile removed.
Oh, Rayla making it possible though, not going to let this go down without a fight. FF still has the man advantage, so gonna be difficult to do, but has the location of both written down and lands one of the headshots. There's no way. If Rayla pulls this off, it would be an impossible feat. I just don't think there's enough time left on the clock. Pros don't fake, and there's no time to anyways. Professor Minty brings them to double digits. 10-12 on the board. Oh, I can't get enough of this team. And now Fractastic 5 has me behind them as well. I believe in the dream. Any round could be their last, and they're playing like it. They're playing like their heart is on the line. They don't want to allow this to go to map number 3.
Yeah, you know what? Their tournament life's on the line, and I guess that my internet is not being able to cope with that much drama. The drama is very high. I'll be up once again, but this time in the hands of the chamber. Will it be enough though? Stardust at least is being forced off. Mid control will be taken, but the capitalization of that will be the trick.
Yeah, they're just going to be slowly pushing up mid, poking and prodding. FF playing the information game because there's so much information on the side of Comets, but if you don't allow them to know where you are to start with, you have a huge advantage just sending out the drone, no other sound signals as they get started. Nobody's spotted though, only the close angles cleared. That could be enough to get them on to site.
No, now the final moments. Could that be the post-mortem, or could that be the birth of the dream, putting them only one round away from overtime, or sealing their fate? Is climbing up, the climax is there. It looks like it is still gonna rise up higher and higher. The tension is building up. The flanks are coming in, but looks like the Comets are aware. They're ready. It's a 2v4. There needs to be something. There needs to be a miracle, and it's up to the professor now. More than ever, you need your brains to come up with a magic, with some sort of magic. 70 HP, the stick is there, no utility, and pros do not fake, and pros do not get swept, and it's 2 for, oh, it's actually 1 for 1, and finally, we're back to ground zero here between the two teams, and the resilience can never be understated from the side of the Fractastic.
That can describe what we just saw. I mean, we looked at that first half and we thought, Comets are going to put this away. They're going to put this away in the first 4 or 3 rounds. But oh my goodness. Wow, Fractastic 5 really pulled a comeback there and almost had the 2-map shutout. But alas, we are on to our map 3 here. Excellent performances for both teams there with a lot to chew on. We'll get into the replays here. But I mean, I would personally say that I think there was a lot of very good, as you mentioned earlier, there's a lot of good patient adjustment there from Fractastic 5 in that second half. I mean, in a scenario where when you're attacking on Breeze, you have a lot of flexibility. There's a lot of space for you to move. There's a lot of options for you to move to. And some people tend to, lose one man on a side or lose one player on another side, and then they panic. And then they all rush mid, and then they all go mid, and they all die. But we didn't see that here. We saw, all right, we've lost a player. Let's readjust. We can move here. They were holding on to the utility. I say again, the absolutely crucial part about a site like Breeze where utility makes taking a site so much easier. Players were holding on to their utility and they were using it to its fullest in that post plant. An excellent shot there by Counter Blender, by the way. And so I do think that ultimately, while Comets did come out on top there, I also want to point out that I think had Comets been on defense to begin with and not had the attacking start, I think that map would have gone differently. That's just my 2 cents on it. We can chew on that a little bit more after the replays, but and the break. But gentlemen, any last thoughts or otherwise on this particular map?
The only difference between this map and the previous map is they had a couple more rounds at the beginning to give them the buffer. I mentioned when we saw they were 0 and 6, that might be the difference maker, so even if there's a comeback, they have a couple rounds to work with. That's exactly what we saw. They just needed those couple rounds buffer, those couple rounds breathing space, so even when Fractastic 5 does their inevitable hero run and makes it possible, they had the rounds to spare, so it got close, but not able to close it.
Okay, I just have an announcement to make. Frey has won over Fly City. That catapulted them all the way into 3rd place. And now, instead of fighting to keep your playoff spot, you're actually, I think it is sealed? Unless the head-to-head favors the side of the Fractastic 5s over Fly City. I'm not that aware of that, but looks like that the tournament and the epilogue of the group stage couldn't get any more exciting so far. Game 3 have a lot at stake, so we'll just have to wait and see. I think it is the Ascent, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, it is Ascent. And we shall be ascending to our Game 3 right here after the break. I'm Beldingo's Mike. I'm joined by Vault and Easel, and we will see you in just a bit. Welcome back. Welcome back. There's no more need for introductions, but I'll do it one more time. Alba, I'm Baldingo's Mike. I'm joined by Vault and Easel, and we are on map 3 of this head-to-head between Comets and Fragtastic 5. I would like to think that I somewhat predict this in the sense that, as I said, last game that the Fragtastic 5 played, they beat Team Ambitious Act. Yes, I believe that was the case. And Ambitious Act being the only team to unseat Comet so far, and I think that's showing here. And we certainly saw, though, on our last map, really how strong of a team Comets was, as it was their pick, and we saw it on the offense. The absolute aggression and speed that they play with completely play to their favor in a map like Breeze, especially when you have so many angles that you have to watch on attack. But then in that post plant, that movement is what allows them to get such a strong post plant that we saw there in the first half. And while in the second half, they definitely were looking to needed to pick things up a bit, they still managed to close things out and played very well. And as we move on, before we move on to discussing this third map, Vault, Easel, lay it on me. What were your big standouts? What were your big takeaways? And what are we looking for in these teams right now?
Vault, go for it.
Okay, so first of all, an interesting statistic is that they haven't, like, for the side of the Comets first, they haven't dropped a single map outside their loss to the Ambition team, and that was a 2-1. So if stars align, maybe Fragtastics will actually have to repeat history. So dropping maps is something that is very unlike the side of the Comets, but now you gotta give it to them. Like, their resilience in that map, despite how well the ramp up has been for the side of the Fragtastic 5, has been impressive. They managed to have the tenacity and the resilience to withstand and find an adaptation. But you gotta wonder, when actually will the Fragtastic 5 show up in round 1? Because that can be the difference maker for them. So far, they managed to keep clawing back their situation. But if they actually lead an advantage, so how do you think it will go?
I honestly, they could run away with it. We've seen either team be able to do that, and I don't want to miss it. So I'm gonna cut myself off and let let us go into agent select.
Indeed. Like this, it is map 3. It's the deciding vote right here. I'm Baldingo's Mike. This is Vault. This is Easel, and we're ready to go into the third map. Agent select, let's go.
But yeah, like I was saying, both of these teams have run away with it in different times, at different spirits. The question is, can Comet keep their momentum through to the end of the game? And are they going to be able to make adaptations? That's the big question, because they have good set plays, but they don't always have the responses when those get shut down, or when Fragtastic 5 throws something new their way. We're going into Ascent, so I'm not surprised that we're going to go ahead and see that Killjoy pick get pulled out, and we're going to have a fade on either side, so it's kind of reminiscent of the first map, in my opinion.
Yeah, they're reminiscent, and we're going to see the breach once again. But this time, it's not Double J, it's Counted Blender, and Double J is onto the KO. They are electing to go Double Initiator over the Sentinel.
Select
And
your agent.
like the
Triple
way that they are
Initiator
playing
from
this.
Fragtastic.
Yeah, it's very intriguing here. No Sentinels at all. So you have a lot of reliance on Captain Rogers as your utility to stall, to take the map down, to slow the pace if need be. Especially you're starting on the defensive side here for the Fragtastic 5.
Yeah, the only thing I think missing is Fragtastic 5 don't really have any super cheese agents. They don't have any people that can do any really weird stuff. Really, all these agents really play off of their own utility in one spot, except for Astra, who does stars. But if you look at all those other agents, they're just ones who just like pop something out or play for themselves, as opposed to leaving a turret or a trip or a TP or doing something on the other side of the map. They're going to be very isolated in that aspect. They're going to have to play together as a team if they want to win.
They will have to do that much, but the thing that they have on the side of the Fragtastic is impressiveness. Like Breach is very oppressive. Being suppressed, well, you don't have any chance to use util. You're basically stuck playing Counter-Strike while everybody else is playing Valorant. And you can also
Yeah, I
say
don't
the
wanna
same
do
thing
that.
for Astra and Fade. Like the crowd control and the level of oppressiveness on the side of the Fractastic 5 is very high. But once again, it will come down to how they capitalize and how they show up in round 1, which is coming right in here, Ezel. How do you think that the setups are going for both teams so far?
Very interestingly, it looks like a quadruple mid aggression from the Fragtastic 5 to get things started. That play into tiles, crazy play, and they get a pick for it, although with a little bit of damage. That's a huge opener.
Yeah, the return is there. The 0 point is there, and Double J looks like he has come to play. And there we go. Trace, though, really well played from Blizz and Prey, respectively, on the backstab and holding. But now it's down to Blitz and Stardust, 2 of the performers for the size of the Commas, but they have a very big ass. The Spike is in a very dangerous position. They have to walk into so many tight corners. And the util is regenerating rather quickly. You're talking 5 seconds for that fault line. But will it be enough? Looks like the Pyro is getting things into his own hand. And round 1 out of the drawer. You have to say a very beautiful set play here for the side of the Fractastics with the aggression.
If you're gonna have anybody in a 2v3, you'd want Stardust and Bliss, but unable to do it with that those crossfires that they had set up on the side of Fractastic 5. I like that early aggression, and I like it for one reason. I like it because it's acknowledging Comets aren't as good at adapting mid-round. They're not as good when they're not able to do what they thought they were doing. And so they play into that even on the very first round with that early mid aggressive play, which many teams are running, but is still hard to counter when it happens nonetheless.
Yeah, and you know, you're talking about aggression. Look at Pyro already inkling out, but he will be spotted. And now, while you're walking into a 3-man stack, the stack is falling down rather quickly. The defense is crumbling. Minty at least can salvage something, can fight back. But you will need to fight much harder to get the retake, and a beautiful entry here from the side of the Comets.
Now, in a 2v3 to get back on site, it's going to be tough for Fragtastic, but they have a little bit of utility to work with. Prowler going to provide some information, although it gets smoked off almost immediately.
Ooh, Rogers, what a beautiful bait and switch here. Now a 2v2, the angles are isolated. The stars will be used to push him out of his comfort zone. And all down to Rayla in a very dangerous position here. And how could he isolate his duels? He can, but he is not going to be able to convert the kill. A very dangerous round to plant and 3 kills for the attackers, but eventually a recovery from the Fractastics.
That kind of retake, huge to start things off. Last game, let me remind you, Comets got 6 rounds in a row. The scoreline was 6-0 from them on their attacking side. This time their attacking side hasn't amounted to anything. Now on a full rifle buy, but with just light armor, it's not the best. You can still get shot up pretty quickly. Kind of a little bit of a glass cannon situation happening here as they're going to force the issue onto B site.
Yeah, forcing the issue, scaling up tremendously fast. Already Stardust walking into the site, opening it up. The slimmer of an angle, but Pyro will not be able to connect. They're leaving the site open, and the retake will begin. A 5v5. Weapon advantage in hand, but it will all come down to the coordination, the team play. How will it go as we are on a knife's edge for map number 3?
The retake coming in quick though. Now in a 3v3, Rayla tries to even it out, but it's Cow and a Blender who makes it close. And regardless, Comets do get 1 on the board, but even with full rifles, only 2 players left alive in the end of it.
You gotta give it to both teams. They have come here to play. They came up also very ready, and that is something that we haven't said about the Fractastics for the first 2 maps. finally they're showing up early on. The retakes are being played to a really high standard for both teams, and now we could be in for a cracker here, Iso.
The game is just starting to heat up and faster than it did in previous rounds, so this is definitely gonna be a fun one. Now, with the slow creep towards A site, a different look coming from Comets. I like that they have different things to show, but they're gonna need to show that they're able to hold on to site and follow through on it.
Yeah, they're gonna have to find something. Minty will be found though in response, and that KO will just get back up, no problem. And now the retake needs to be on. You need to find something. If you give that round away to the Comets, and Cow in a blender will just absolutely chainsaw you through the wooden wall. Doesn't matter to him. And now you can see the util is coming in. The 1-2s, the mini punches will put Mars and Rayla in a very dangerous position, but Mars is coming up huge, paying dividends with a 3K. And now it's only down to the two members. Rayla, beautiful for him. Gonna tuck himself down in, and he's gonna be able to get the second as well to save the round. 6-2 already on the Killjoy, and 2-2 on the scoreboard.
Yeah, Rayla with a beautiful backstab. Just to creep through mid was all they needed. It didn't need to happen quick. They got there in time to make it happen though. Now with a couple ults on the board, they can kind of get a little bit better grasp on what's happening here. It's kind of confusing trying to figure out which team has the advantage, because I'm not sure they even knew up until this point. Now the gun buy really going to set that in stone. Full rifles and heavy shields for the side of Comets, as well as another new look, a 3-2 split on the map, trying to divide up Fantastic Five, not letting them use their 5 members together.
Yeah, they are dividing them up perfectly, but will they elect to go into the wrong side of the game ball? So far though, so good. Looks like the read has done pretty well. Now they are just trying to adjust, and the Stinger will not reign supreme here. The eco guns are just not strong enough, and that will be 2 members falling down, but not before doing a good chunk of damage onto Stardust.
Spike planted.
Oh, this could be dangerous. This could be deadly. But Rayla, he managed to get out. The Blaze Storm will not be enough, but the Stinger will be. And now Easel. Could we see a retake? Is that question.
I see the possibility. The seedings are there. Pyro with a good updraft, but doesn't find anything yet. The counter nightmare to slow them down. No information to work off of, but still finding the heads on site anyways. All up to prey in the corner of sight. Blitz in the back. Makes it connect with a 3K.
Beautiful here to save it all, to keep his team in the game, to give him the lead that they needed. But you know, the economy isn't as strong for either side yet. This game is still very much in hand for either team.
Heroics to save that round into the 1v3, as I saw the retake was possible, and then suddenly it was happening before you could even think about it. Now, Comets going for the B hit, but there's a 4-person stack. They've been read completely here, and Pyro gets the opening pick, although traded out by Ryla.
Yeah, the trade out is gonna be good. And now, the 1-for-1. It's a little bit advantageous for the attacking side. Looks like Double J will not manage to find anything out of his flash, and he will be perfectly swung, executed by the kunais. And now, the B hit once again has to ensue. Minty will not be able to find enough. He's being pushed, he's being tagged, and now it's all down to Rogers. Could he pull another one from the boat area? That would be what we're looking for. The push, the Stinger will pay dividends. And now, you know, we're living in a Stinger world.
Surely not another clutch from the back of boat. I couldn't live with it if so. Thankfully, they're not gonna let that happen, and now they're in a little bit more of a secure spot. Comets where they want to be, where they like to be, where they like to run away with the attacking half and give themselves that buffer room before they have to deal with their defensive side, which admittedly not quite as strong. And another like light buy, but kind of forced buy from Fantastic Five, trying to make any round be possible or at least do damage.
Yeah, and on the edge of their economic advantage, it looks like the B side will continuously be exploited here. It's only Rogers, and now it's only Stardust with a back turn, but back to back, and it will be Stardust to flick the 180 real quick here. And now looks like that round is gonna be all but wrapped and dusted. The Killjoy is expended, so at least some value coming here for the defensive side.
Good aftershock from Calvin a Bucket to push them back a little bit, but they still have a lot of angles to clear, and with every passing piece of utility, less time to do so.
Yeah, less time. It looks like they have realized they know that they don't have enough, and they are just trying to find any exits. They're trying to give them end side. As you can see, all 5 members are stuck here. We're taking you down with us is what they must have in mind here. For the side of the Fractastic, they're trying to, and they are creating them back and forth, and all 10 will die in that B side. No one gets out alive.
They don't win the round, they don't get a lot of kills, but that is a successful eco to take every gun out of the hands of Comets. They're forced to buy back into this and not run away with the economy game, not just yet. Now, both teams able to buy rifles. Blitz opting for a Spectre. That's all right, that's respectable, but there's good heavy firepower from both sides, so we're gonna see how they actually match up. Look at this though, another 5-person stack. Fractastic 5 have the read on what's going to happen here, and this time they have the weaponry to contest it if it comes through.
Yeah, it looks like that, I don't know, Cowan and Blender might have something to say about this round if he manages to get something, if he manages to sneak himself in. But the respect for play from the side of the Comets will be enough to dissuade any sort of aggression. Maybe they are setting up for a play, but it looks like that will not be the case. Rotation in hand, and that could be cut very short here, Easel.
Yeah, Fractastic 5 so far forward, doesn't see Omen. Saw his elbow, surely, and yeah, able to do it. Pyro cleaning that up. Have given up A site in return, but that's huge map control. They know exactly where they're going, and they know exactly the only place they can be.
Yeah, they managed to lock them up in the site, and actually Minty with a huge kill as well to even lower the numbers. It looks like it will need to come down once again to Rayla, but it will not be good enough. Finally a round, and their faith shall be rewarded here for the Fractastic.
Yeah, that round, I would say it is definitely the map control that wins them it. They have such a good idea on where they are and where they aren't that they can confidently push all the angles that they need to and not second guess, not worry they're going to be backstabbed, and that's extremely valuable. So it was a full gun round, and Bush Fractastic 5 that comes out on top, showing that this is anyone's game yet. We're not going to allow Comets Esports to run away with it quite so easy. Comets forced to reevaluate a bit, headed a bit more towards that A to mid side. With Stingers, I'm not sure I would want to push mid, but hey, they can do that.
This is a Stinger world, Ezo, and we are living in a world of Stingers. Yeah, look at the read, look at the aggression. But even though, will they actually be able to catch up on what is going on? As we're seeing 5 members walk up into the tree area. Are they gonna go into a meat grinder, or will they go into the gauntlet? It looks like the gauntlet could be it. The Seas is beautiful. The Rolling Thunder is as well, and they are being absolutely hounded here in the tree area. Mars trying to find something. The Stinger will claim that, but that's all she wrote. 2 kills, 2 good kills, but the setup here was very good to hold their ground from the side of the Fractastics, and they are showing up early and showing up big.
Yeah, I'd love to see the read on the round. It's an eco round, sure, but they read it perfectly, and they know, wait, they've done this whole death barrel through tree before. We're gonna give it a little bit of respect and then shut it down. They do exactly that, and they're rewarded with another full rifle buy, and now pretty much the best economy anybody's seen this whole game, because they didn't have to reinvest too heavily into this one.
Yeah, I didn't have to invest, but who has to was the side of the Comet. If they win this round on the Fractastics, that could mean at least a guaranteed 6th. You never know though, but right now, so far, they have the read. The haunt was all they needed. It looks like that they will decide to play very passively here on the side of the Comets.
I like that smoke and TP. Really no idea where Omen could be. They don't even realize how well they're selling that they could potentially be on A site already. Or they haven't quite gotten that much space. They're just playing with their heads.
Yeah, crossfires
round.
are great, Easel. I really like the crossfires from the defense here. But the main problem is that nobody is walking into them. And now they are afforded a pretty free A site. It looks like Rayla will actually find Double J in the mid area now. Another peek here. Another 1v1 could be had in mid, but not before the plan goes down. And Pyro left to play it safe. 4v5. And this round can go anywhere.
Yeah, and Fantastic 5 need to throw everything into this 4v5 because, like we said, this map is their tournament lives. It is their only chance at staying in this a bit longer. Mars not going to let the option be there, though.
Yeah, but the retake is not going on as well as they might anticipate it here. 3v2, make it a 3v1. Now it's all down to Rogers as he's taking down, guaranteeing a 3v1, but he will just take it back, run away. I wonder if Stardust will survive. He will not. Neither will Blitz. So that's the economy. Not really being a good situation for them either. Look at the money they will have to actually buy very lightly here, and this round is still very much anybody's game.
Yeah, the silver lining is they have a little bit of fun saved up, so they're not going to be crippled by that loss, but it doesn't feel good, not when you're trying to run away with it. So interesting strats from both sides, and honestly, look at the kills. Almost the exact same kills from both teams. Only 2 more kills going the side of Fantastic Friends.
The aggression here is going to be met with a 5-man though. So it's good on to the side of the Fractastics not to push too much. Meanwhile, Blender is in such a good position, has been exposed though. So good looking out from the side of the Comets, but now it will all be about the read. They are going back to CT Easel, and we have seen this round before, but not without any loss in members from the side of the Comets.
Similarly to the last time they thought about rotating like this, so much map control is given over to Comets, or given over to Fantastic 5 when they do so. Fantastic 5 acknowledging where they are, having a good idea. You can see the pings exactly where they're rotating to. And Comets are forced to walk back because...
The drag back though could be very good Easel. They are not expecting it. They are fully committed to the A side, only leaving Pyro. But now will be the question, will you split or will you commit? If they commit, they get paid in spades here.
30 seconds left.
Only 30 seconds left on the board, so they're going to have to go through all up to Jet to shut this down. All up to Pyro to stop Stardust, but unable to do so. Just the dash, the flash, the smoke. Nothing to do. Spike is going to go down, no contest, because they gambled on the wrong chips.
Yeah, 0 point in hand though. It looks like they will open up the skill feed in this round in their favor. Mars though, returning the favor. And there we go, 0 point. Pyro is gonna link up and he will find a second. Will we find another clutch? It's down to Rayla in the boat. It could be doable if you jump like that, but beautiful from Double J. And now 5-6, and they are trying desperately to even this hop out.
Double J turning up before the second half of the game changer. Absolutely
Last
what they
round
need,
before the
and
switch.
I love to see it. They're still at the bottom of the scoreboard, but they have some kills this time, and I don't doubt that when they get onto the other side and they're able to play their defensive game, they're going to be a formidable force. We've seen it happen in the past.
Yeah, and you know, you're talking about the triple initiator, and just look at the scoreboard. Look at the assist count on the side of the Fractastics. We're talking 9 on the Breach, 7 on the Fade, and 8 on the Chaos. So they are playing really well off of that util. And that is going to be a very strong point when you go to attack, because now, what do you have to shut it down? Just the Killjoy. If the Killjoy is silenced, and that is going to be the pivotal point. If you can silence the correct members at the correct timings for the side of the Fractastic, you can just run away with the game. But so far, you need to pull up one more defensive round to make sure it's a 6-6, and that is what we will expect in 20 seconds from now.
This 5-6 is the closest scoreline that we've seen to date. There was a 8-4, and then it was I guess it was a 9-3, but this would be either a 5-7 or a 6-6. So this game has all the markings of going the distance, neither team willing to give it up, and Fragtastic 5 knowing this is where they give it all. This is where we draw the line because this is our final chance. Love to see it. They're going for some early aggression into A. We're going to have to counter it, at least on their side. Nobody holding on site from Fragtastic 5.
Yep, quick play here. Shock and awe coming in from the side of the Comets, absolutely stampeding onto the site. It looks like there will not be a response. Killjoy ult is there for the attackers. And do you wonder, does the breach have a way to stop it from the heaven position? It looks like they are deciding to wait it out, which isn't the most orthodox of decisions in that situation. Nightfall will link up, trying to stall as much as you can. Now it's gonna be down to the Comets to find the kills. They need to find something. They are finding pairs, but a triplet will be found back for the side of the Fragtastics. It is a 2v3. Rayla is in the position to steal that round away, and he probably will. No, I think there is enough time. It is very close. It is very close. There isn't, and this is 5-7. Beta with another steal for the Comets.
Switching sides.
Fragtastic 5, so close on the precipice of greatness, but unable to pull through. 5-7. Regardless of the outcome of that round, sure, they lost it. 5-7 is good. 5-7 is better than they've had in the past, and they've won one of those maps with worse. So Comets don't have as much wiggle room as they had in the past. So I'm curious to see whether they'll have the defensive looks to make up for that, if the Killjoy is really going to make a difference with all of her utility, or whether they're just going to crumble again.
It's gonna be very intriguing to see a triple initiator attack and how it's gonna pan out, especially Easel. What is going on? Why is the duelist is left on an island when 3 initiators are also playing very passive? That is very unlike the Fragtastics here.
Yeah, Fragtastics just trying to get a sense on what's happening in the map, really. But don't do anything off of it. Maybe some miscommunication there. Going to lean towards that A side eventually.
They managed to find an opening though. They are all the way into the catwalk area, scanning up into tree. On to make sure nobody's in, but now you walk into the 3-man crossfire. It looks like it doesn't need anyone more other than Prey here. Double J needs to come up big, and he will not start us. Will seal his fate. And now Minty once again left in a very dangerous position here. If this round goes, this can swing the momentum for the side of the Comets, and they have shown that they can run away with leads at times.
Yeah, sure, nobody had real guns coming into this round, but this is a big confidence booster, being able to get this on the board, and just to have the alarm bot came online right as she got over there. But just to have a flawless or even a near flawless, that's gonna feel good, and that's gonna propel them forward. Like you said, the momentum game, it's all in the cards now. Professor Minty trying to sprint the site.
Wait, if he gets the plan though, that will be actually very good for his team. It looks like he will. The rundown is there, and he won't. Why are you planting in the open, Minty? Not like
no
that.
time, no time. It's all right.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter for the time either way. You just get it for the fan bonus.
Yeah. Unlucky, and they're not going to have a good buy coming into this, and it could spiral here, but Fragtastic 5 in the second half. They always have something up their sleeve. I wouldn't be surprised if not this round, then in the next, that they show us something, well, unorthodox to say the least.
Yeah, that is what we are waiting for, Easel, but so far, let's see what they do. They are playing it much slowly with the triple initiators than I originally anticipated, but looks like they want to scale up now with the best, not with the best gun though, and Stardust managed to chop the cow off the blender into the mid area and ascend, and he will take a second, but finally will go down. Mars will get one, and there is one back. And that is a very good opener here. A 2v3 is doable if he managed to get to the site in time, but he is stalled here. He has to go through the stairs area. It was very risky, but he will get out just with the thinnest of margin. A very fine line here, and the retake is gonna start.
Not much to work with either. Pulling out the classic with 10 to 20 HP, and with 3 members with guns forcing onto you, it's going to be a bit tough. But they're spotted out. Double J not able to cover them. Both fall, bringing them to 9 on the board. Comets looking to bring this over the finish line and doubly secure their #1 spot in the side of groups.
So let me guess, is this a reverse map 2? Where instead of the side of the Comets getting the lead early and running away with it, and then Fragtastic coming back before finally being on the precipice of defeat, is this the opposite, where like FF actually get an early lead, but so far though, this gun round is gonna be make or break. It's gonna be double digits for Comets, or it can signal some sort of a comeback, some sort of a confidence boost for the Fragtastics.
Okay, but 2 rounds, the pistol and the follow-up, is not an early lead, and that's the only time that FF have been in the lead, been in the driver's seat this game. So I wouldn't say that it's quite a flip on the script. I would just say it's a less exaggerated script, the previous rounds that we'd seen. And do keep in mind, Comet Esports Club are on a bit of a bonus here. That's why they opted to stay with those Spectres. So they don't have much to lose in this round trying to take those guns out of the hands of Fragtastic.
Oh, but they are starting very brightly here. Minty will at least try to shut him down. He's not really paying attention. He's being pincered in Blitz. Will run them through. A beautiful suppression here. And now you're being ducked down in the site, and you need to show out. You need to blow up. It looks like Rayla, he wants to show up himself. The flash will not be perfect here, but at least Double J will get one. And now it's only on Rogers. In Rogers we trust, but it looks like in Rayla we believe, as he will stick it down for the double digits for the Comets.
Yeah, Prey keeping them in it, keeping their momentum going forward. Not only do they get that round, but they walk away with a couple rifles for themselves. Their bank accounts looking quite nice. Stardust able to invest into an op to try and close this one out. Stardust not going as crazy in this map as they did on Breeze, but now that the op's in their hand and they can take those defensive holds, I wouldn't say it's out of the picture for them to do so here. Especially because, well, they just might walk into their crosshair down Cat as they push towards the A side.
Yeah, 3 Stingers, 1 Classic, and 1 Spectre are gonna be the gunpowder to bring the opposing gauntlet here, but Stardust is not gonna give them an inch. Beautiful repositioning back to back. We'll get the 2K absolute masterpiece here. It's like watching a crescendo, and now we will get the crescendo of the round as the take is starting easily.
And they're getting kind of stuck where they are. Their only option is to go back towards mid or double down, which with such weak weapons, why not double down? Give it a shot. Rayla not going to let it happen.
At least the plan though, that is good. Blaze Storm in hand. Suppress. Will confirm who Double J is. Will he find anything? He will not. The frenzy, too wild to control. It is a frenzy indeed, and that's 11. It looks like what started as the completion of the very good saga is starting to get out of hand here for the Fragtastic 5.
I think, reflecting back on it, it actually seems like a really good thing that it was so even at the half, because that just means that Comets didn't get burnt out, didn't overheat, because that's what it really felt like in the first couple of maps. So the fact that they didn't burn out, I'm not going to say it's a reverse of the previous map, but more so they still had energy in the tank to do something in the second half.
Yeah, and having energy in the tank is very important, especially as playoffs are coming. We're going to start seeing these BO5s. So it will be very intriguing in that situation. So I am scared of right now is actually the game slipping out, because we've seen the operators on either end can be very dominant, and they have been able to shut the map down from time to time. So Stardust already showed us on the very first round that they got this. So what interests me is the following. Where do you think this will go, Easel? Like, if they actually, on the side of the Fractastic 5, manage to string a few rounds here, do you think that they have enough energy as well as the Comets have to bring it through to get by, or do you think that this is what they have and this is they're running on fumes right now?
It's hard to say, it's hard to call, because we've seen some really crazy comebacks happen. And I'm not sure if I'm misreading the messages that we're seeing from our head of Valorant, but it kind of appears to me that FF, even if they win this, might still not qualify because of the way that the other teams' score results have worked out. So we'll just have to wait and see whether that will actually come to be true, if they can at least focus on this map and secure this, as Stardust is anchoring the back of sight.
Beautiful here from the Opper. He will die though. Pyro, once again, the Classic just being the best gun in the game, apparently. Doesn't matter what you have, you will die to the Classic. The Cosmic Divide here, trying to buy some space, trying to delay them as much as you can here, as Pyro is gonna get the plant. That looks like the retake has taken shape, with Blitz once again being on the flank.
They're so spread out, but they're able to pinch them because of it. Pyro taking an early peek and able to flip and get the kill on Mars. That's huge for the round.
Wait, they're very low. They have to go there. It can be a stick. The pros don't fake, but Minty don't miss. Okay, that's round 6. Looks like, well, while they may not actually advance to the playoffs, they are still looking to provide a very good matchup for here. This is what you can say swan song for the end of the VRS here.
Yeah, they're still gonna give it their all to the very end, because who knows, anything can happen. Sure, it might seem to be one way, but you know, crazier things have happened. They still might have a shot yet, and they're going to give it their all. They don't have any other choice as they lean over towards this A side. We've seen this sort of hit happen before. The op is still on this angle. Surely they clear it. A good flash to make sure it's not a repeat performance of the previous disasters.
Face your fear.
Yeah, but now they have still to claim that op though. They have still to clean it up. And now you can be walking into the gauntlet, you can be walking into the meat grinder. It will all be down to the members, and it looks like Rayla and Blitz have the memo. Stardust, no op needed, is just gonna short you down. And Rayla is gonna link up for a second, a 1v2 here, and it will be a 2v0 match point. And it looks like the series will get ended here with how little the buy will be.
Kind of a rough buy to close things out. Comet's not petering out. We've discussed that a couple times, but they do have 2 ults on the board and the strongest buy you could have. 4 rifles, an operator, and on top of that, some confidence to go along with it. Stardust finally heated up, being the top fragger in the lobby. It's gonna take really, really a miracle if Fractastic 5 want to take this round, and every round after this, just to get to overtime to give them a shot. I don't see.
Off your feet. Let's do that.
Spike down B.
With you, 6 to 12. The plant is coming in with a minute to go, but it's only a 2v3. It's only a 1v3, and the miracle has to come through from Rogers here. He has to come up huge, and it will not be. It looks like that is all she wrote for the side of the Fractious 5.
Yeah, unlucky for them, and that ends it out. In the end, 13-6. Comets close it out and prove to us why, although with a little bit of faltering, they are the #1 seed and team in this group.
Indeed, indeed. And I believe it was a very valiant end. My lights just went out. That's okay. A very valiant end for the. I already forgot the name.
Fragtastic.
Fragtastic. Thank you. That threw me for a loop. Fragtastic 5. Yeah, very good performance from both teams. And I just have to say that, despite not making it to the playoffs, I do think that the team performed valiantly. And I hope to see them again in our next split to maybe see them new, improved, and ready to go at it.
Is the hope now that we actually have fully wrapped up our group stage part, maybe we can shed some light on what is going to happen to the playoffs. So, Easel, do you want to take us over for the standings for this group now that this match is over?
I actually don't have those on hand. I'm not sure where you would be looking at them, but I can talk about the stats.
Yeah.
Theoretically speaking, just to break it down real quick, in our B group, at our first seed, we have our players over at Comet Esports Club. In our second seed, we have the Phantom teams. In our third, and our third and fourth spots, I believe, are tentative spots. Tentatively, we have Frey's team, and finally, in our last spot, we have Fly City. And that will be your teams duking it out in the playoffs for the grand final spot in our fall split. And Easel, I know you wanted to talk a little bit about the stats there, maybe for this last match or for anything else. So please take us away.
That's really all I can speak to. We saw Stardust once again turning it up, being the top frag in the lobby, really the raid boss. But it's not just Stardust, and it's not just Blitz either. It's also Mars with 18 kills. Mars turning up big, and so having so many different players that turn up big at so many different times is what makes them such a formidable team. And honestly, that's all there is to say to it. They get the kills, and they die sometimes, but they're not dying a lot when they can string these sort of rounds together, especially on their attack halves.
This is true. Vault, anything to say?
I mean, there is really not that much to say. You gotta say it was a very close match throughout. But the one thing that I can give that much evidence to would absolutely be the amount of heroics that we have seen from the Comet Club. It is what kept them into this after all. They were struggling pretty hard early on, like to close out the maps, but eventually they started to get the clutch factor, the little bit extra that kept them both in map 2 and actually led them to close that one out and finally to run away with the third map. And that is a very dangerous thing to walk into in playoffs. When you have a team that can both wear you down, and we've seen they can play the long haul, and also do have the trick up their sleeve. They have the pocket aces sometimes. That is going to be a very dangerous situation for the Group A members going against.
Very well said. And I think with that, ladies and gentlemen, that will conclude week 7 of our fall split here at the Victorious Rival Series. And stick around if you were a fan of Fragtastic 5. You may be sad to see them go, but there are still some wonderful matches coming here in the future. Once again, I am Beldingo's Mike, and I am joined by
Bolt, and this is here.
And Diesel, wow, good one. And we have Rhino VOD producing this as always, putting in all the work. I think he was throwing together an MVP screen, but I'm not sure we'll be able to hit that. All we were going to say is Stardust, this is all I said to him. Stardust is poggers, and just showing up where they need and going crazy, not only on the kills, but on the flanks as well, especially on that Breeze map, being an impact fragger.
Indeed. The Jet allegedly the worst operator on release, now one of the best. And with that in mind, I think we will call it there for the evening. Again, thank you very much for joining us. This has been week 7 of the Victorious Rival Series, and we shall see you in the next one. Have a pleasant evening.
And be ready for playoffs. It's going to be a banger.